Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
Pardon? We are in the building. Technical difficulties abound. Annoying, but we're in the building. Appreciate you guys for being with us. You're still here. It's supposed to be a different layout up. Could not change anything. I am now in rush mode because internet decided this morning in our Airbnb to just not work. Very weird. Was working the entire weekend, but decided today at the perfect time to just not work. But regardless, we're here. I'm going to make sure I have all of my other stuff in place for us because I didn't get a chance to log into Hump Chats. We were logged in.
It's all good. Everybody understands what's going on here today. We've been in Las Vegas. I've been in Las Vegas since Wednesday, so I'm tired as hell. We're all tired. We're just trying to get through this damn day. And the internet don't want to work. We just wanted to come and pod. Will Washington is somewhere in the world living. He'll be here soon. You know, he's a busy person. He has a big show today. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other things. But yeah, it's Grapsody. We'll Righteous Reg, Philip Lindsey, live in Las Vegas. I'm excited. Who else is excited?
As always, you know, you can send us your super chats. If you want to send us your humper chats, you can send them to us at humperchats.com/Fightful. And hold on, I think we have a guest.
Why does it say that?
I think we have a guest. Add to shrink.
Hey!
Look at this. Look at this. All 3 guys are in the building.
Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Slightly. You're kind of low.
Yeah.
Bummer. Hold on.
Technical difficulties.
Let's see what I can do here.
Technical
How about now?
Difficulties.
How's it sound now?
Can you guys hear him in the chat? He's kind of low for us. I will turn up my audio and see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All
they
right.
say they can
Okay,
hear
we're
me.
good.
I think we're good.
All right. Look at it. It's us.
Well, am I too loud now? Because I turned it all the way up to like 200.
No. You're good. We're good. We can hear everybody. We're all here. What a clusterfuck of a morning. But it doesn't matter because your boys are here. All 3 of us are in Vegas. Reg are in the same place.
Yep.
Will is currently in his hotel room. But we're here. I'm, of course, thrown off base. Have a lot to celebrate today. Celebrating my guy is back here for the first time since he got the new job.
Wow.
Haven't got a chance to say on air to you, congratulations. Really happy for you. Really proud of everything you're doing, man.
It's been nuts, honestly, this weekend seeing you like as an AEW employee and not as our third podcast partner. But it's amazing. Like everybody, you can see that all the people that you interact, that you work with are like happy for you to be here and everybody's excited. It seems like a pretty team effort. Everybody's like, the goal is like, y'all all want the show to be dope. And that's just really dope to see. It's just crazy to see you out there. I mean, I knew this day was going to come one day and it's just amazing, man.
Did you really know this day was going to come? You like one day we're like, you know, I know we're doing Grapsody and everything, but one day Will Washington is going to go work for AEW.
Yes, 1,000%. I knew the day we started this podcast.
Well, then you and all the trolls are all along the same line, Reg. No, honestly, it is a great environment. It is a great place to be, and you're right. Everybody's working for the same goals of wanting AEW to be the best product imaginable, and to be a wrestling product that has heart. And I think that it's just a great time being around the entire environment and seeing everybody there. But that's not what I came to talk about, guys.
Wait a minute.
Hold up.
Minute.
No.
Wait, who's gonna get this shit off first?
I spent, what was it, the last 8 months on this show talking about the Denver Nuggets. Wow. I spent the last 8 months on this show, and I said my exact quote: I don't know if this is their year, but this is the best I've ever felt about it. And you know what? I was right. I was right all season long, folks. I just knew it. Looking at, look, I said there's something about this squad that they are playing basketball. And what I meant by that was that you had Nikola Jokic, you've got Jamal Murray, you've got Michael Porter Jr., 3 starters that the Nuggets drafted. So we're talking about a team that they have built up organically, a team that stuck together all season long, a team that when you look at the fact that there's been so many blockbuster trades this year. We saw Kevin Durant come back to the Western Conference. We saw the Lakers basically blow up their team. We saw all of these trades. We saw all of this stuff to help shift the team. But the Nuggets were like, and people got on the Nuggets, remember? During the over All-Star break, people were like, why didn't the Nuggets make any moves? And I said, because they have the team they need. They don't need to make any moves. And pretty much like Bones Highland going to LA was really like the only major move that was made. But, and, of course, they picked up KCP this year. There were so many little things they did, but they never made any major trades. And I think that at the end of the day, they stuck together. They worked on their chemistry. They played basketball, and they are going to the Western Conference Finals. You don't understand. I was in Los Angeles. I was in Los Angeles. This past week, I was in LA watching. I was there for New Japan Resurgence, and so of course Monday, as I'm coming home, I have to watch in the airport. I'm watching the game at the airport, surrounded by people who are from LA, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I saw my team sweep the Lakers. I still can't believe that.
While you're in LA.
Those are words I can't believe I've said out loud. I figured Nuggets in 5. Look, especially when you look at game 4, the Nuggets won 1 quarter out of those 4, but it just happened to be a quarter they won by 20 points. That happened to be enough of difference. Look, I'm not going to get into all the national media conversation stuff. It is annoying. It is okay.
Let's get into it.
Because it's annoying. because it's annoying, right? It is when you think about like I said, there's this national media conversation going on about the Lakers blow up. What happened? How did they go from having the postseason, not the postseason, but that late season run they had? Does LeBron James still have it? Is LeBron James going to have to retire? Is he washed? All of that, guys. The only thing that happened here was that the Denver Nuggets beat them at basketball. Like, I don't care about any of the other stuff. The Denver Nuggets beat the LA Lakers at the game of professional basketball, and that's it. And there's this conversation about Denver being a small market team. So, of course, you guys know me. I am a numbers guy. I very much, for whatever reason, care about numbers and analysis. And so I was like, how small of a market team is Denver? And so I went ahead and ranked every NBA team by the size of their market. And Denver does come in 8th.
Back, baby.
Yes, that's right. This is me. But the Denver Nuggets came in 18th, I believe. So of course they're not on the higher end of the markets. The Knicks, by the way, have the largest market. So I think the top 3, I think it's or top 4 are Knicks, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors. And I think it's probably Chicago right behind them. So Denver is a smaller market. They're 18th, but there are 5 teams below the Nuggets on that list that have championship rings. So I don't care as far as any of that's concerned, because it's time. It is time for the Nuggets to get it. And by the way, I completely missed yesterday's Eastern Conference Finals game. So I was.
We saw the last. We saw the fourth quarter.
Yeah. No, I just happened to be walking by a TV. I forgot it was on, honestly. I had a lot of work to do yesterday because we've got a big event coming up tonight.
Hey.
AEW Double or Nothing live, T-Mobile Arena, traditional pay-per-view, Bleacher Report, Fight.tv. Let's get it. But I just happened to be. I walked by a TV, and when I walked by that TV, I saw the Celtics celebrating, and I thought, oh, the game was on. And then I saw the score, and I went, whoa, what happened? And then I saw it was a 1-point game. But this is the ideal scenario, folks, because the Nuggets will have been off for 10 days by the time they get to by the time we get to the game 1 of the finals. Whoever wins the Eastern Conference Finals will have 3.
I mean, either of those teams are going to lose to Denver. Let's just keep it 100. Both of those teams are going to lose to Denver. I've been saying since the Lakers-Denver series started that the winner of that series is probably going to win the championship. And that feels like that's where we are. But I'll let you get into your basketball talk. And I sat here the whole time because I know people know that I've been waiting this entire episode to get my shit off. And I have. Because I've been waiting a long time. I've been waiting since we started this podcast for us all to be on the same accord of LeBron slander. And we're all finally united in the hate for this guy.
Have arrived.
I sat and you guys didn't want to get on board with me at first. I sat and watched Reg's team lose to him. And then I seen how you were getting how Never was getting the calls against this guy, and I was just like, I've been waiting. I have been waiting for almost 2 years for us to be united in slander against this guy, and we're finally here. Get him the fuck out of here. Get this guy out of here. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear he was out there on 1 foot. I don't want to hear no altitude.
Fuck all that.
No, he got balled the fuck out. Get him out of here, bro. We're done.
Balled the fuck out.
I don't want to hear none of that, bro. Listen. Again, I mean, we got a lot to talk about, man. I just, the guy's birthday is today. Mm-hmm. Went out to Saudi Arabia, got him some new gold. Come on, man.
Gotta give me every time.
Come on, man. Something right, bro. Y'all talking crazy.
When did Grapsody get an explosion, by the way? That is throwing me off every time.
Yeah, we're out here, man. Yeah. Flex is the thing, man. I can't explain the origin of this. We don't have time.
No.
Go with it, man. We're in the moment.
Follow along.
But nah, man, listen. I've sat on this podcast, and as you said, coming on here, you were right. Listen, I've been right about my man for a while. Seeing my guy go out there and win a championship, it made me feel good because knowing that the Chicago Bulls have been out for a minute, I've been hanging all of my aspiration for a championship win this year on Seth Rollins. We came back from Jeddah with that win, man. I appreciate him. And not even just that. I was sitting around hoping for another cherry on top. And the Empress of Tomorrow is your new Raw Women's Champion. So I kind of got a back-to-back victory on top of this. Can't celebrate this Denver win yet, but I feel like it's coming. It feels like the Miami implosion is imminent. We saw on this podcast last week, and I said, man, Jimmy walked out there and basically talked that talk and looked like he was getting it done in 5 games. We're now 6 games out, heading back into Boston. I don't know if he's going to be able to do this. Jimmy guaranteed a win last night, and I was like, that's a bold, but I felt good about them going into Miami because up until this series, they were undefeated in South Beach. And so I was like, they can pull this out. I got worried when I saw that score in the 4th quarter. Then I went away for a second to go to the bathroom. It was 12 points. I came back. It was a 3-point game. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I sat and watched the scenario. Butler got fouled. Three free throws. Miami is winning this game by 1 point.
Yes.
I thought this was over. They run this bonehead play to get Marcus Smart.
The Marcus Smart shit was wild.
Of all people, last shot. I was like, no, they're cooked.
Yeah.
I looked up and I was like, wait, why did it say they won?
Yeah. It was weird. For a second, we didn't realize that they had the tip in. So we were just like, oh, yeah, he got this. It's good. And then, but the Celtics were celebrating. And we were like, why are the Celtics celebrating? Because they got the fucking tip in. It's been crazy. That was a wild ending for a game. Boston, I don't know what the hell Boston is up to. Like they look good sometimes and then they look awful the other times. And the Heat has been kind of the same. Like Jimmy Butler is like on fire and then he's kind of not. And
he has not played great for the last few games. Bam Adebayo has not played well.
I feel at this point, though, that like they have to just do it. They have to go all the way at this point. I think that now historically, Boston, I think that, look, this will be, unfortunately, a historically significant collapse of what was a phenomenal run for an 8 seed. But I think just at this stage, when you look at what Boston's already accomplished, and historically we've never seen the reverse sweep in basketball, they kind of just have to go for it all and pull it off to be the one that pulls off the reverse sweep. And for those
go out like that, man.
For those of you unfamiliar with the reverse sweep, that is where you are down 3-0 and you turn around and win 4 straight. So you still swept just after you lost. But yes, the reverse sweep never happened in basketball. And it could very well be the case here. I feel like at this point, they've just got to pull that off.
Well, you think the 10-day off is going to help? Like, because sometimes teams, going and being warm, still going with it. You think that's, because that used to be a Peyton Manning thing. I used to be like, I always wanted Peyton Manning to keep going. I didn't want him to have any rest because anytime he would rest, the game coming back was never the same as when he was just on fire. You know what I mean? Could that potentially be this? Could it be too much rest for these guys?
I've had that concern, but then I think about the history of this team so far, because people ask that question about the Nuggets with the play-in happening, right? That, of course, being the number 1 seed, they essentially got the most rest. I think there is a mile-high advantage. But you know what? What are they going to do? Move to a city that doesn't have the altitude? Like, I'm sorry. It's not. There is a mile-high advantage, but they don't have a championship ring. So how much of an advantage could it possibly be?
Touche.
I will say it felt like a perfect scenario for them winning the way they did, sweeping the Lakers after I felt that they were disrespected all year. There were a lot of people going, even when the Lakers were a 13th seed, I feel like if they match up against Denver, they can beat Denver. We've been hearing this all year. And for them to sweep these guys and then sweep them on the same day that possibly one of the greatest Denver Nuggets of all time is retiring, pretty big.
Yeah, I told the story on Twitter. I'm going to tell it here again because it was a really important story to me. But like legitimately, Carmelo Anthony was responsible for my basketball fandom as a whole. Specifically responsible for my Denver Nuggets fandom. And I told this story on my Twitter, but before, like when I first moved to Denver, that was it was 94. So that 94-95 season, that was the season that the Nuggets knocked off the Sonics as the number 8 seed. And then they proceeded to go 8 straight seasons without making the playoffs. And so to me, when I was a kid, I got into basketball right around the time NBA Jam came out. And so there was all of this fanfare around all things basketball, right? You had Shaq, who was the brand new college draftee who had just been playing for the Orlando Magic. And you had, of course, Michael Jordan was still lighting the world on fire. And all of these things, to me, the reason the Nuggets existed was to see the teams that mattered in your town. Right. It was literally like, oh, cool, Michael Jordan's gonna be in town. Let's go see the Bulls play the Nuggets. Like literally, the Nuggets were just a portal to see the more important teams because the Nuggets were a team of losers for a long time. And like I remember when we had Nick Van Exel, and it was like he was like actively playing to get traded, and like we had drafted Grateful Friends, like all of these things, and it was a tough time for Nuggets fans. And to me, I was like, I don't even care. Like, I'm watching basketball. I'm seeing Kobe and the Lakers. I'm seeing so many different things that were exciting that to me, the Nuggets like weren't even in the conversation. And then I remember I was in the 10th grade and there was all this discussion of the upcoming draft. And there were 2 players being talked about. It was high school prodigy LeBron James and college freshman Carmelo Anthony, who just won himself an NCAA championship with the Syracuse Orange, and it was the NCAA Player of the Year. Like those were the 2 players everybody was talking about that year, right? Those are the 2 guys that you were going to see make it. But the difference between Carmelo and LeBron to me at the time was that, like, yeah, LeBron definitely had, and rightfully so, more of the media attention. But Carmelo was just cooler. And I think it's harder to describe, but like, yeah, like Carmelo came around and he kind of had that like fabulous like swagger to him that was in at the time. And like the 15-year-old me, that appealed to me. And when he was drafted to the Denver Nuggets, it was like the perception of our team changed overnight. I remember all of a sudden that baby blue and gold jersey that we switched to that year all of a sudden became fashionable. And you started seeing Carmelo in commercials and all of this stuff. And this was all like that summer before anything had happened. And then when we started playing, what did we start? I think it was 13-3 was how the season started. And literally, I was going in my barbershop and everybody's talking about the Nuggets. And they're not talking about the Nuggets in a way where it's like, hey, do you want to go see the Nuggets with somebody? Everybody's like literally talking about the Nuggets like a team that actually matters. And Carmelo had completely changed the perception of this team. And so much so, in fact, that I remember I was sitting in the barbershop. It was a barbershop called Rumors. And I'll never forget the day. I was getting my hair cut. I was 16 years old at this point. And I turned, the barbershop had a just like my split screen here for some reason, a barbershop side, salon side. And over on the salon side, everybody's like crowded around this chair and everybody's trying to talk to somebody there and I trying to peek at who it is. And I'm like, who is that? Who is it? And then finally I get a view and I'm like, oh, is that Lala from TRL? And I turn around and I'm like, what is she here? And my barber goes, oh, you don't know? She's dating Carmelo Anthony. And I'm like, that's it. My city is officially cool. Like, what happened? Yesterday, this was the city that didn't matter from a mainstream perspective. And now all of a sudden, Carmelo Anthony's here. He's got endorsements. He's got all of these deals. He is coming off like a mainstream star. And he's bringing Lala here to just like be in to just be here at the salon. This doesn't make any sense. And so that day, I remember I felt like, all right, the Denver Nuggets have arrived. And then 2 years later, we got the All-Star game. And there were just like celebrities in my city at the All-Star game. That was the first time I ever met John Cena. And it was just different. It was just a different time. And
well, wait a minute. You can't skip over this part because I've thought this for the longest. And this has nothing to do with me being a known, not a Bron hater. I've always felt like Carmelo should have been Rookie of the Year. He took that team to the playoffs. He had a better season. He should have been Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, there was a bit of a collapse though at the end though, because I think like they still finished over 500, but
yes.
There was a bit of a collapse at the end but I still felt like, look, this is a team that in the entire time I've been watching basketball up until that point, never made the playoffs, not one time.
Right.
And so to see Carmelo make that difference, I agree that he should have been Rookie of the Year, and he said it this year.
And Cleveland did not make the playoffs that year.
Right.
That's why I was like, LeBron, Carmelo kind of got cheated out of that, but it is.
Yeah. But Carmelo is responsible for me being a Denver Nuggets fan, because from that moment on, from that season on, I was like, this is my team. I'm dedicated to this team because I've seen that more is possible with them. And granted, they've never made it as far as they've made it today, but I have stuck with them the entire way through. I watch 82 games a season. Like, this isn't just I hop on when they're doing good. Like, I seriously watch every single game possible. I love this team. You know what else I love, by the way? I don't have a whole lot of time here. Professional wrestling. And I love the city of Las Vegas. I don't get to come here too often, but if you are in Las Vegas, come see us, T-Mobile Arena, Ticketmaster.com. Grab you a ticket. Actually, AEWTix.com. AEWTix. Because I don't think they're through Ticketmaster. AEWTix.com is where you can grab you a ticket for tonight's Double or Nothing event. If you can't join us, be sure to check us out at Bleacher Report or on Fight.tv if you're watching internationally, or on traditional pay-per-view. It's got a great card tonight. There are seven championships on the line. All 7 AEW championships are on the line.
While you're here, should we get into like a Double or Nothing preview for old time's sake?
You have time? You have Double or Nothing preview time?
I mean, sure. We could go over the card if you'd like. Do you want me to introduce the matches? All right. Yes. I've got to do this in a while. Although I did host them restricted this week.
You did do that.
Yeah, I did with Aubrey Edwards and talked with Tony Khan. No pressure having my first episode be like, hey, guess who you're going to interview? The boss. Pretty normal. But it's a great time.
Man.
No one's surprised.
I mean, we've interviewed him here, like, so we been here. It's nice. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, different. Very different when you're just directly next to him. But yeah, otherwise it's look, this show, and if you happen to check out the buy-in, we've actually got a 6-man tag team match. Ethan Page and the Guns take on the Hardys and Hook, and Hardys and Hook win. A reversal of fortune. Matt Hardy gets control of Ethan Page's contract. A lot can go down here. This will be on the buy-in. You can check that out, youtube.com/AEW.
Just one buy-in match today?
Yep, just the one buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got, for the AEW World Trios Championship, the House of Black has an open challenge. Who is going to answer the open challenge for the AEW World Trios titles?
It could be anybody at this point. They've seems like they've been building towards a couple things. So, I mean, I'm interested to see who these 3 people are going to be. Surprise? Some people we know? Who knows?
We also have an unsanctioned match with special guest enforcer Sabu, which I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, was a genuine surprise to me working in AEW. When that man walked in the room, I was shocked. I had no idea this was happening. But Sabu will be special guest enforcer in an unsanctioned between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho.
Pretty insane.
Also,
yeah,
the streak, the line,
not the most
the greatest streak in AEW.
But it is what it is.
Another story for another day.
The streak on the line. Yeah. The streak on the line. She's 59-0. This is her chance to hit 60. Jade Cargill defends the TBS championship against Taya Valkyrie. Will Taya be the one?
What's going to happen?
59-1? Or
I saw that quote from Ella J's interview with Jade about one Chris Statlander, and it definitely got my mind racing. I'm like, boy, the timing of that is very interesting. Yeah, I have to assume that Jade is going to retain. But I don't know. What does that mean? I just think the timing of her coming up could be a total coincidence, but just the fact that it came up today is very interesting.
I mean, I think that Jade at this moment in time has to focus on what's directly in front of her, which is Taya Valkyrie. Because last time we saw Jade Cargill one-on-one with Taya Valkyrie, of course, the Taya's finish was banned. But at this point, and that led to Jade, of course, retaining the title. With it being a factor tonight, I don't know. I don't want to look ahead of Taya Valkyrie. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. No, of course not. I'm assuming that based on everything that went into this match, that Jade is going to retain. I think the signal of her getting ready to beat the other jobber that came out to go 60-0 tells me that that's kind of the foreshadowing that she's going to end up going 60-0 tonight.
I can see it. I like it.
Well, I'm going to say this. Everybody knows I love Jade Cargill. And the fact that she's made it this far, I want to see that 60 up there on the screen. But she's also been for a really long time.
Yeah, it would be super interesting for our two black queens to both lose their women's championships this weekend. But, we'll see. We will see.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Also,
back.
We have for the AEW Women's World Championship, Jamie Hayter. Is she 100%? Excuse me. Got a cough there.
What was that?
Sorry. I'm actually just getting over strep throat, so I'm recovering. Jamie Hayter. You've got Jamie, who has been jumped by the Outcasts time and time again. She wasn't able to compete in the trios women's tag last week on Dynamite. In what city was that in? Austin, Texas. She wasn't able to compete that night, and we saw her jump this past week on Rampage by the Outcasts. Mm-hmm. Is Jamie going to be 100% defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Toni Storm? And if she's not, does Toni Storm take advantage and become the first ever two-time AEW Women's World Champion?
I don't know. It does feel like with this injury, it could be Toni's night.
I see that. I can see it.
We also have a 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal for the AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy is putting the belt on the line in the Battle Royal with a who's who of AEW talent. There's going to be Ricky Starks, The Butcher, The Blade, Bandito, Commander, Lee Moriarty, Big Bill, Ari Daivari, Tony Nese, Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, Kip Sabian, Ray Phoenix, Penta El Cero Miedo, Swerve Strickland, Brian Cage, Jay White, Juice Robinson, Keith Lee, and Dustin Rhodes.
Wow, that's pretty intense. I was saying on our preview show with Denise earlier this week that I think all the extracurricular feuds and activities are going to be the reason why Orange Cassidy retains his championship tonight.
Yeah, and same thing when we're talking about the predictions. I really like the story of the main champion and Max being flustered by the fact that he has 3 challengers. And the television champion, who has been dominant and fighting champion, is like, no, I want all of it. I want all the smoke. And he's taking on 20 guys, and I think he's going to win.
Yeah, but like I said, on Unrestricted, Orange Cassidy's been kind of burning the candle at both ends here. And this is one of those matches that just like pours gasoline on it. So who knows? I will say, shout out to the fact that one of my favorite things in working in AEW so far has been the fact that getting at like the hang with Swerve every week is actually kind of cool. And it basically went from somebody I got to see on occasion to somebody I get to hang with on a regular basis. And it's very different. It's very different. I'll say that because it is true. I have, for anybody asking, I have been at every AEW event. I haven't been at the house shows, but I have been at every TV event and every and of course now a pay-per-view tonight.
Yeah, I guess get into it a little bit for the listeners, like what has been experienced so far working with AEW, like goods and the bads. I'm sure you won't get too much into the lows, but like just what has the experience been so far?
No, I'll say from it is a 24/7 job. And that I will say is from the side of being, I can't call that a low, but I will just say that it is, it'll take a toll. It is taxing, but it is something where I am constantly working. I'm constantly thinking. I'm constantly, there's never a point where it stops. And so that much I will say. But yeah, like I said earlier, it's a great environment. It's a great place to be. And again, it's pro wrestling, and everybody, regardless of what side they fall on, is working toward the same goals, which is to see AEW be the best wrestling product it can be. And there's nothing like being in an environment like that. That's awesome. But also, let's see, what else do we have on this card? We've got the AEW TNT Championship. Wardlow, the TNT champion, with Arn Anderson, is taking on the master of the ladder match, one of the greatest ladder match competitors in the history of the wrestling business, Christian Cage, in a match that favors one Christian Cage, a ladder match.
Interesting. We've never seen Wardlow in this kind of situation. I guess we've seen him in the Casino Battle Royale ladder matches, but this is different, like one-on-one with Christian, a master, somebody that's been in more ladder matches probably than Wardlow's had matches at this point, it feels like.
I would want to check that stat, but it's probably not that far off. But yeah, it is. It's not a match that necessarily favors Wardlow, but he's held through. No, I'd say this is his toughest challenge, actually. I was going to say he's held through tougher challenges, but has he? This might be Wardlow's toughest challenge, just based on the fact that you've got Christian Cage, you've got kind of a master conniving personality that has Luchasaurus by his side, which you have to consider being an incredible X factor out there. And
like no DQ in a ladder match, so Luchasaurus can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. FTR, the AEW World Tag Team champs, defending the championships. Look, man, I have to say, the biggest change I've experienced, everybody says, has working in AEW changed you, Will? And I would say for the most part, I'm still me. Do you guys not feel that? I'm reading the chat here. I think you guys know I'm still. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I am still as Will Washington can be. However, no, I have come around on Jeff Jarrett. I have come around on Jay Lethal as a team, as a tandem. This team, I look, honestly, and shout out Mikey Ruckus, because I can't even hear My World on its own anymore. That hybrid theme of Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal's theme is like one of my favorite mixes possibly ever. And these two, they brought in Karen Jarrett. They've got Sanjay Dutt in their corner, of course, still. They've got Satnam Singh. We've got special guest referee Mark Briscoe here. I don't know. This team is really, really entertaining. I thought them on the farm with the Briscoe family was one of my favorite things I've seen this year. It's absolutely hilarious. I actually love this team.
Jail. Yeah. Awful. Get Jeff Jarrett out of the tag team scene. What's going on here?
Yeah. At this point, he's had 4 tag title matches, if I'm correct, right?
Is he the only number one contender for the damn tag team championship?
This is their 4th tag team title match. This is their 3rd straight tag team match. Of course, the other one was a 4-way. But yeah, they of course got the challenge. Let me see if I remember correctly, and I'm sure I do. They had the tag title match against. They had the tag title match against the Acclaimed in Seattle earlier this year. It was January 4th. And then on January 6th in Portland, they had the rematch for the tag titles against the Acclaimed. And then they were in the 4-way at Revolution. And now they've got this shot here. So who knows? 4th time could be a charm. Isn't that a saying? I don't think so. But no. Either way, FTR has a lot to prove, though. They've got FTR. FTR has a lot to prove. They've been fighting for this reign a long time, and I don't think they're ready to give it up just yet.
Yeah. I hope not.
And other fun things happening on this show. We also have, let me make sure I hit every single match here. That's right, because we've also got, this is why, of course, order this show. Bleacher Report, traditional pay-per-view, fight.tv. If you have a chance to be in the arena for Anarchy in the Arena, you should be. The Blackpool Combat Club's Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, taking on the Elites, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Hangman Adam Page. I went and sat in the arena that moment that the Elite finally reunited, seeing Hangman out there with boys, hearing that crowd go nuts in Austin, Texas. That felt like that was one of the first true moments that I got to really be there for and be a part of, and that was just so cool to see. And seeing these guys back together finally in a match against the Blackpool Combat Club, like a team that has spent the last year really being the dominant team that they've been. And, we saw last year the Blackpool Combat Club in Anarchy in the Arena, or at least a good portion of the group. We saw Bryan Danielson, of course, was in it. Jon Moxley was in it. Claudio hadn't joined the group yet, and Wheeler Yuta was out. But to see this group the way that they've come together now and see them up against the Elite in this scenario, and thinking about what the Elite was able to accomplish in Stadium Stampede 3 years ago, I think this is going to be insanity, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, this has potential to be the match of the night. A lot of people are saying they think this match should be the final match of the show. I disagree. I think the World Championship should always be last, but this match is going to go absolutely insane. I'm interested to see if they do like last year with the music playing the whole time, what kind of extracurricular activities are going to play along with this, because last year we were all there and it was insane. So I'm sure this is going to be even more insane.
I think this is going to be nuts.
The best heel faction in pro wrestling, Blackpool Combat Club, and don't care if you disagree with that opinion. That's my opinion. I'm standing on it. They are still flexing in pro wrestling right now, and they're going against four of the most talented guys. Really, I don't want to call them pillars because the other guys are pillars, but really the foundation of this company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is a huge deal. Like coming up on 4
the
years
elite
for the
and all elite wrestling.
have all this power. Yeah, it's a huge deal to have like this much star power in a match and have like this kind of big matchup on your card. I think it's gonna be the match of the night. Honestly, I really think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think four guys who have a point to prove on the topic of match of the night is the four pillars. You have MJF, the AEW World Champion. You're defending AEW World Champion up against three guys who have been with the company almost since day one, but were there pretty much from the beginning and are a big piece of the foundation of the company. And Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I think these guys have something to prove. MJF, of course, has been to this dance before. MJF is the AEW World Champion. He is proven that he's a main eventer, that he is that he belongs at the top of the card. And I think his comrades here, his in Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jack Perry, I think are out to prove that they also belong in the same conversation with him. And I think this is a night to prove the doubters wrong and justify all of the supporters of each of those three. And for AEW to kind of put a stamp on the fact that they have some of the youngest, brightest talent on the scene. And for this to be for the AEW World Championship, I think is such a cool thing. Obviously,
yeah, I think with the talk kind of surrounding the build up and everything with this four pillars match and the promos and everything that's kind of went into it. This match, I think they're going to go in trying to prove even harder why people have been calling them the four pillars, why we are at this point. And if they are going to follow anarchy in the arena, they're going to have to do something. So this match has a lot riding on it, I think. Max as the world champion, carrying the company and being the main event it's an important night for all of those guys, I think.
Yeah, I think it's an important night for AEW in general. I think this is the last. I think there's a lag between us. So if I feel like I'm cutting you off, it's really just because there's like 3 or 4 seconds between us. But just really quick, I think that this show in general just represents a turning point for a lot of things because we are just around the corner from the launch of AEW Collision on TNT, and that airs Saturday, June 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern. On TNT live.
We're gonna talk about it when you get off the screen. I'm gonna get my shit off. I let you guys get your shit off. I'm gonna get my shit off soon. So
yeah, you go ahead, Reg. But
yeah, you go ahead.
But no, honestly, it's gonna be live from one of the greatest arenas in.
I'm tired of y'all.
Yeah, one of the greatest arenas in the world. I'm sorry. All right, look, I can admit, even as somebody not from Chicago, that having been in the United Center, there is truly not many experiences like the United Center. It is a very, very special arena, and I don't think there's a better place to launch AEW Collision than the United Center. But this is, of course, our last.
Have to be there.
Yeah, well, this is honestly our last major pay-per-view stop before Chicago, before the launch of Collision. And so I think it's going to be a great night. I do really recommend everybody come check out the show. Again, AEWTix.com is the way to get a ticket if you are in Las Vegas tonight, or best seat you can get is also at home, which you could find on traditional pay-per-view or streaming on Bleacher Report or Fight.tv internationally.
Yeah. Get into some super chats for you. Get out of here. I don't want anybody to have thrown a question at you in our super chats and then you're gone and can't answer it. So let's see. We got one from Van Twinblade. Is Will Laytington? Huh? No, yeah. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Will Laytington, Philip Latesy, Latesis Reg. All
right, Van Twinblade.
You made your point.
Hey, I was not the reason we were late today this time. So
we were actually on time. I don't even like where you're going with that. We were sitting here in front of the laptop trying to get this thing to work for
a nerve, Van Twinblade.
For a good 40 minutes before we got on this podcast. So it wasn't that we were late. It's just the internet just wasn't working. But it is what it is. Technical difficulties abound. We're on the road, so
yeah.
What can you do? Jake Salazar. I hear SawCon is in Vegas this weekend. We'll
keep it, Jake.
Yeah, you can hang on to that one.
Yeah, I think friend of the show, T is a big horror fan. I think he might have been excited for that, so maybe he went. Maybe he
don't fall for this one, Phil. Don't fall for this one.
I thought we're just gonna move past it. Y'all need to stop calling us late. We're black. We could be late, okay?
Regulators mount up. I mean, hey, get your jokes off. I feel you, man.
CPT time or whatever.
Let's see, Ryan Fields. It was so satisfying seeing Cody's loss. If Goldust never got a world title reign, Cody doesn't deserve one. If Goldust didn't, I strongly disagree with that. But it is.
I actually did not see that show. This is the first I'm hearing that Cody lost.
That show.
Yeah.
This guy. That show.
No, I didn't. I like legitimately. I have no problem saying the name. Night of Champions. I didn't see it. So this is actually legitimately the first time I am hearing of a loss.
Yeah, the Cody shit was dumb.
Jake Salazar again. Collisions in Chicago. CM Punk back, maybe. Seth is champion. I'll bet secondary, still a champion. Oscar is champ. Man, Phil is out here eating. Definitely out here eating good in Vegas that first day. I feel like I deserve it. But it is what it is. See my man, Will the Beast. Congrats. I'm so happy to see where you landed. So excited for Double or Nothing today. Good to see the whole Grapsody crew back together. Let's fucking go.
Yes.
And Caden, who is in the other room somewhere in this Airbnb, says,
I think he's trying to say that in Jeremy Lambert fashion, saying, Will Washington.
Yes.
Yeah. See, my man Onreg is as Will is in creative. How has the experience been? We kind of got into it a little bit. Asking him to pitch Brian as AEW World Champion every way possible. Hell excited for Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
Have you said your official job title, like on this show, or like what it is?
Yeah, I am coordinator of wrestling administration. Is my official job title.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any more input on like the creative side, but I mean we pretty much got into it.
Yeah, we got into it.
Yeah.
See, D-Lo Diggs, up fellas. I think we all have a real question we want to know. Will you go to the Denver Nuggets finals game?
I was looking at the prices of them tickets. I would love to, but man, I can't justify spending that. You're pricing fans out of the finals, and I'm like, who can afford to go to this? So I don't know.
Celebrities
in Denver.
I think Melo will pull up.
They're gonna pull up.
You don't think Melo's gonna show up?
That'd be cool, actually. That'd be really
I think
cool.
Melo will be probably courtside. It's kind of a big deal.
Right.
And I think they're probably gonna retire his jersey in maybe a year or so. So he'll probably be there.
The problem is he's got the same number as Jokic. So
yeah, I think they're gonna, if I had to guess, they're probably gonna retire.
Better get a new number, white boy.
Wait, Jokic is the one that's getting him a ring. Why?
He's not changing.
I don't care.
If I had to guess, they're probably going to retire both their jerseys.
Did Jokic make 2 headbands on your head popular? I think not. Okay.
Well, Melo didn't even do that. Wasn't it a Fab thing?
Well, he had a little time with that, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that's what I meant, though. That's what I said. Like, Fab's style was something that I feel like Melo helped bring into the NBA. Right. And so it was kind of just a hand-in-hand thing.
Yeah.
The Jake Salazar, who the fuck gave this man sound effects? Don't worry about it, man. We out here. Don't worry about it. Shout out to Mac from Brooklyn. The OG3 are definitely in the building, man. Nice. Appreciate you. Let's see. Oh, man. Pieces. Great seeing you again, Will. Claudio to wrestle in New Japan for the never open weight 6-man titles with Blackpool Combat announced. Claudio and Ishii in the same ring.
It's fire.
Amazing. I didn't get a chance to watch the Best of Super Juniors finals yet, but waking up to the news that Claudio will be there is awesome. Congratulations to Master Wato. That was definitely not who I expected to win this tournament, but he's been grinding. He's been a fan favorite. So, yeah, shout out to him.
Claudio in the ring with Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii is nuts. That's going to be insane.
Jake Salazar with the energy I've been waiting for, man. Get this man LeBron the fuck out of here. I don't care if he retires. This bum got ripped on the game winner shot. LeBron slander is at an all-time high. You love to see it. Man.
Look, you know what? I'm not going to slander LeBron. And let me tell you why.
You just might. Cut his mic.
Well, legit. I'll say this. You know, again, all the people who want to make the excuses saying, well, LeBron was this, LeBron was that. That man had 40 points. What are you talking about? He just lost.
In the last game.
I would not say LeBron is washed. I would just say that he lost to a better team. It actually doesn't favor me to say that anything was wrong with LeBron. Because honestly, LeBron was playing fine. The Lakers were playing fine. They just lost. That's it.
Referees are on their team too. That's why.
I mean, I don't. Let me be specific. I don't think Bron is washed. I just think that it showed in this series that his age is catching up to him. It showed that he's not the same guy that he was 4 years ago, and that's fine. I just think it's funny, and the only part that I thought was weak from him is coming out in that press conference and doing the whole we got a lot to talk about, you know. Look, bro, I don't believe you. You're not retiring. I think this was very strategic to keep people talking about you for next week. I ain't buying it. I think he will be back next season. He's probably going to end up having surgery. Go figure. There's something wrong with that foot. I guess the LeBron James feet was wrong. But no, he didn't play bad. I think in that series, Davis was the best player on the team. And I think when he didn't show up, they struggled.
They live and died on AD's back.
Yeah, and sure. I think that's been a thing all playoffs long. But I mean, they made the playoffs off of Davis's back because they made 500 before LeBron came back from the injury. Right. I mean, I honestly don't think that Davis has gotten the credit that he deserves for getting them to the playoffs. But no, I wouldn't say that LeBron is washed. I just think that he's showing that he's 38 years old. This man's going to be 39 at the end of the year. We talked about it before. We talked about Jordan. That's when Jordan started to regress, and we started to see it when he hit his 40s, and he's a year away. So it's not surprising.
What do you think of the talk of the Lakers wanting to pick up Kyrie?
Boo.
I don't see it, man. You know, it is what it is. I wonder what they're going to do over the offseason. Here we are getting pulled into Lakers talk, even though they lost. Yeah. I wonder what they're going to do over the offseason because Reeves is going to get a bag. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get it from them. They're probably going to try and match what somebody else offers him. But this guy's going to get a lot of money. I would imagine he's going to get upwards towards $100 million. I would be really shocked if he doesn't.
To me, though, again, a part of why I'm proud of where the Nuggets got to is that they still proved that there is success to be found in doing it the old-fashioned way, as it were, that you draft players, you build a team, you build chemistry, you win titles. And that, like, you know, I've always hated what the super team created in the league, because it created this idea of, oh, you don't need to build a team, you need to buy one. And I've never been a fan of that. I've never been a fan of, but I recognize that I was like, okay, this is just where basketball has gone. This is where the league has taken us, and we've allowed it to happen. So at this point, we just have to recognize that this is how basketball works now. And to see a team make it as far as they've made it without doing that, to me, I think it does give me a little bit of hope that basketball can get back to a point of building teams rather than buying teams.
Yeah, I mean, Lakers are definitely going to make a big move forward all season. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't think that Kyrie is the answer that people think he is.
No.
And he's even saying himself, like, I haven't made a decision on what I'm going to do. So I don't know why people are rushing to conclusions, but it is what it is. Jake Salazar hit us with the Bree Woos.
Double J.
Let's see. Ryan Fields, Wish Mox and Bray. Sorry, well, it says Bray, but I'm sure he probably means Brian. Wish Mox and Brian would go after the tag titles. Brian needs gold. It would be the only belt Mox hasn't challenged for and failed so far.
No, he has challenged for, because he challenged that Double or Nothing 2 years ago alongside Eddie Kingston against the Young Bucks.
Right.
And that match was fire.
That match was fire.
Yes, it was. Phenomenal.
Let's see, from Anwar, what did you guys think of Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I don't think we talked about it because, I mean, I'm the resident Marvel guy now that Will's not here. But I thought Guardians was really good. I think it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame. I think it's easily the best of the trilogy. I think we can, at this point now, say the Guardians have the best Marvel trilogy as well. And I'm never going to not go up for Rocket Raccoon because he was the best character going into this franchise before the movies existed. And I think James Gunn did an incredible job of getting fans to connect with him.
I hate to say this, I did not get a chance to see it. I have spent the last month basically getting accustomed and started in my new job. And I said all that. And then, of course, I went and saw The Little Mermaid yesterday. But that was with my kids. All right.
Yeah.
When I talk about things that have not changed, I'm still dad. And so, yeah, I haven't had a chance to see it. I still really want to, but this may end up being one of those movies I don't get to watch till it's on Disney Plus.
I don't know what my man's doing.
Saucon, man.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Don't fall for the Saucon.
All right, Jake. Man. Reel it in, bro. Reel it in, bro. Let's see. Jake again. Let's see. Will no LeBron slander. Get this man up out of here. He's outstated. Welcome now. Listen, I'm here for all the slander. It was very enjoyable watching this man get swept. I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about it is LeBron fans are now in the same category as Cowboys fans, that they'll get their hopes up no matter what about this team possibly winning. And
Yep.
I've been saying since the playoffs started, the Lakers aren't that good. And people are like, no, look, they beat Memphis. Memphis is an immature team with Ja Morant, like, out here wilding. Dylan Brooks is eyes are bigger than his stomach. Like, get out of here, man. And he played a Warriors team that frankly wasn't the same team that won the championship last year. That's not to make excuses, but again, I just think that people overrated the Lakers. I never felt like the Lakers were good enough to go all the way to the finals.
Right.
Okay, we read that one. Let's see. As a Mavs fan, Kyrie is going to stay, I believe, because all he wants is respect and peace. And the media in Dallas is tame compared to Los Angeles. Boy, I love your wishful thinking, Coy Starlin. Hopefully, you are not let down by Kyrie, but this guy has been one of the most unreliable players in the league for the past 3 years. So I don't know. Maybe you'll stay in Dallas. I don't know. Let's see, last one from Johnny. Blackpool Combat Club can win the trios belts. Freebird rules.
You would need.
I would like to see them challenge
trios
for the
titles. Yeah, you would need that.
Like anybody.
Yeah, no, you don't really need to rotate when it's a 3-man title. But yeah, no, I would love to see them challenge House of Black after this.
Oh, I get what they're saying because there's 4 members of that.
Yeah, because there's 4 guys in the group.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
But also, no, I am not a believer. Here's a and it Will Washington exclusive. I am not a believer in the Freebirds rule. I hate the Freebirds rule. I am a believer that the ones who won the championships are the ones that defend it. I don't want to see alternating. If you won the titles with that combination, that is the combination that defends it.
So you just gonna slag on the entire New Day.
This is New Day slander.
Like,
this is New Day slander
right now, man. Like this is.
And keep in mind, this is coming from somebody that I legitimately believe. I've said it before. I think the New Day is one of the greatest acts in the history of professional wrestling. They are my favorite act of all time. But
greatest tag team of all.
That doesn't mean that in loving that act, I don't also want consistency with tag titles. That I want to see. I'm not a fan of the idea that you can rotate the combination if that combination didn't win those titles.
Yeah, I disagree, but it is what it is, man. New Day is, in my opinion, greatest tag team of all time. I know people have now given that title to the Usos because they broke their record.
You talk about WWE tag teams, right? Because neither one of them holds a goddamn candle to the Young Bucks, but that's another story for another day.
Now, guys, I have to get going. I want to thank you for having me. I want to give a shout out to Phil and Reg for keeping the ship afloat. That is Grapsody, because what I said on my last episode, I'm a big believer in what we were able to accomplish with the show. And I think that you guys continuing to put it on, and I have watched, and you guys know that, but I love that you guys have kept the show going, and that means a lot to me. That means a lot to, I think, the Grapsody fans, and shout out to the Grapsody fans who have kept supporting the show and kept supporting you guys, because I think that's a really cool thing.
Big shout out to Grapsody fans, because I think it's still crazy to me when the three of us are places that people are just like immediately, like when we were at Fans Fest, I was sitting there like, yo, they need to kind of throw us in a booth, man. Like,
yes,
there were several points where somebody would stop us for a picture, and there'd be somebody like right behind them, like, wait, can we get a picture too? And I'm like, what's happening here, man?
Yeah, there was almost a line, and I thought that was so that was really cool. But anyway, yeah, shout out everybody. But again, I do want to reiterate, Double or Nothing tonight, T-Mobile Arena, AEWTix.com, or watch live at home, or wherever you are, however you want to watch it. You can watch it on traditional pay-per-view. You can watch it on Bleacher Report. You can watch it on Fight.tv internationally. But however you watch it, watch Double or Nothing. I think it's going to be a really great show. And we've got so much exciting stuff on tap. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be dope. Yeah. We're going to see you out there, big dog. See what your AEW suit on. Give me a thing on. We're excited for you. Honestly, Will, it's really dope again to see you out there. We're proud of you. Very happy for your situation. And we're excited for the show tonight, and everybody that's going to be involved. Send all the love out to the whole crew and all the wrestlers to make sure we have a dope show.
Will do. And yeah, if you happen to be at the show tonight, I will try to be around, but I actually do work. So yeah,
man. Well, I thought about it. Shout out! I saw somebody else made a Grapsody sign.
Oh yeah.
I'm not bad. I don't have my phone in front of me, so I can't remember whose name it was. But that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that as well, and I told her I would come say hi. So I will definitely be on that.
Straight up. Thanks, my guy. Will Washington.
Thank you for having me. And I will see you guys next time.
Probably won't be the last time.
Sure, this guy will be back if the Denver Nuggets win the championship.
Facts.
Yeah, let's. I think we got some humper chats to jump into, which it is reloading, which is scaring me. Hopefully, it does not disappear. Some of the ones that were all the way at the bottom. Okay, let's see. And I think that it did. Because there were some like right here. And now they are gone. Great. Don't know how to get those back that were at the bottom.
That's crazy.
But I'll go for the ones I see. Yeah. See from Ronan Mike. Happy Grapsody Saturday, y'all. I was happy to see Shibata live in person. But these after Dynamite Rampage takings are not doing it for the in-house attendance. I really felt for the guys and girls who still have it there for the crowd that stayed. Yeah, like that show Wednesday, 6 hours at a wrestling show is a lot.
I was there.
Yeah.
I wanted for my friend to get off before I start the AEW slander, but 6-hour wrestling shows are fucking ridiculous, bro. Like I said on Twitter, no bad bitch wants to watch wrestling for 6 hours. All the bad bitches were leaving halfway through the show because a 6-hour wrestling show just ain't it. And worst of all, the ROH MVP, Athena, was the last match of the entire tapings. The whole thing, she was the last match. And the crowd is just not there for it. It's awful for the ROH wrestlers. It's awful for pretty much everyone involved because it just looks like AEW light. And that's not what Ring of Honor is supposed to be, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got to figure out a way to balance this out a little bit more. I thought that we would be in a good spot with balancing them without Dark. Yeah, I don't know. Oh boy, come on! Let's get the super chats back, the number chats back. Let's see.
This is very confusing. Layout of Humper chats, honestly.
Yeah, now that you guys peek behind the curtain, you now see why I am the one that reads the Humper chats because I usually have access to them. And I was trying to go back and see if I missed some. So I went to another page, and Reg is now seeing what I look at every week, and he's confused by it. Oh, here we go. Here's the one that I missed. For Grapsody, Kwame Brown versus Shannon Sharp at All In. Book it. And that is from Vic Sandu. That Kwame response to Shannon Sharp was hilarious. I don't know. That would be something to see in a wrestling ring.
I'm with it. Shannon Sharp, he's a big dude still, and he loves to talk that talk. I love it. No, I love this energy, but it's like always. Why is Shannon Sharp always attached to LeBron shit? Like I know he likes him, but does he have to go to war for him every time?
You know why? Let's see. I don't know if that one is for us, but I'm gonna assume it's from us from Feeling Dreepy.
Yeah,
it sucks that Mercedes Moné is getting injured. Sucks. I hope she gets better soon. But if anyone deserves to get the launch up the card by winning a title, they weren't supposed to. I'm glad it's Willow. She's my favorite women's wrestler at the moment. Yeah, I agree. We're gonna get into the strong match in a moment. But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, but definitely happy for Willow. She does deserve a big win. Yeah,
like I was saying, if anybody, it's great that Willow was in the position that she was, because if anybody that is going to benefit from this audible, whatever was happening, it was great that Willow was in that position to be right there. And it didn't seem, it's not just like, oh, there was somebody in the match and it's this crazy audible and they had to be the champion and it's weird. It's like, no, Willow she's been building her stock for a couple months now, and this is like going to help. And I don't want the injury to be like a black cloud over her reign,
Yeah. Let's see, from my man Maj Motar, I think I'm pronouncing that right. As an Arab, Sammy's introduction in Arabic on the WWE pay-per-view main event means the world. Representation little me would have cried.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to Sami Zayn getting that pilgrimage to Mecca, and then showing up in Muslim garb as well, and then speaking to the crowd in Arabic. I thought that was an amazing moment for him. Sami has main evented 3 pay-per-views this year. That's insane. I think people that were like, can Sami be the guy if he beats Roman? I think we kind of have a satisfying, I don't want to say an answer to it, but at least like this is a nice way to show that this guy can, if you gave him the ball, run with it and be amazing. And not just be a representation for Muslim people, but could represent that brand really well if they gave him the chance.
Yeah, it's like great to see, honestly. I mean, it's as someone that's been a fan of this guy since he was El Generico more than 10 years now. I remember originally when he signed, it was like, I don't know, man. Like WWE, they don't. He didn't feel like a guy that was going to work there because he was such an amazing independent wrestler, and that's just how great independent wrestler. They're not going to let him get their shit off, but to get from there to where they are now. And we also have to shout out Kevin Owens too, who has played a big role in a lot of this. And for these guys to bring all that they've been doing for the last close to 20 years, being able to do it on a big stage, main eventing WrestleMania, the tag team champions, main eventing this show, it's like, yo, they deserve it.
Yeah. Let's see. Bianca is my favorite women's wrestler. This is coming from Cyclops. I'm assuming this is Cyclops is better than Wolverine.
Yeah.
Long-time supporter of the show. Let's see. Bianca is my favorite women's wrestler. I'm okay with the loss. She had it for a while. Not much to accomplish as a champion. I can't wait to see her chase Charlotte for the belt. Some people are too emotional about it.
Seriously.
Like she won't be champ again.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think people got to relax. I saw a lot of weird tweets yesterday, but I mean, you can't take away what she's accomplished. She's now the longest reigning Black world champion in the history of the company, longest reigning women's champion, longest reigning Raw women's champion. Big shout out to Bianca, man.
I don't really understand what was going on yesterday. What was the doom and gloom? Like she was retiring or like something's crazy.
She had to lose eventually,
and lost the belt.
I mean, just given the response for the past 3 pay-per-views, like those boos were getting more and more loud, and I think it was time. And that's not to say that she did anything wrong. I just think it was time to refresh the title scene and give somebody else a run with that belt. And I mean, Asuka deserved it. So,
I mean, Bianca's beat every challenger that she has pretty much.
Yeah,
that's ready to go. So this is going to be a refresher for the division, I think. In the end.
Yeah, I think she had a pretty good reign. I would like to see her get some more character development now. I'd like to see her do some more meaningful storylines, and I think that they were doing that before the Alexa feud.
Right.
I think that's when people started getting down on the reign from what I saw. I don't agree with people that think she's boring. I just don't agree with the idea of a dominant Black woman in wrestling not being interesting because we don't see it that often.
Exactly.
So I think what her and Jada are doing is interesting on that level. But at the same time, I understand as a Black fan, it connects with me in a different way.
It does.
And I think that they've got to do the storytelling to get other fans on board with it.
Do you think a heel turn is in the future for Bianca?
I don't. I think that she's way too marketable right now. She's one of the top baby faces in the company. They make way too much money off her. She does all the media stuff. I don't see her turning.
The kids love her. It's crazy. Yeah.
Let's see. From Randy, I think they mean 21st century when they speak of modern era in relation to Bianca's reign. WWE talks of Gunther as the longest reigning champion of the 21st century.
That's true.
Yeah. Let's see. From Black Phoenix brand. It's the real OG3. Shout out to Top Dollar. First up, opening Night of Champions with the World Heavyweight Champions final. Even more proof that title is meaningless. At this point, it has to be on purpose, right? They know that it's viewed as a runner-up title, right? Is that supposed to be the point? I don't know if I would say meaningless. The title isn't meaningless, but I don't think that's a great start. We'll get into that some more when we talk about the pay-per-view. Let's see. More from Black Phoenix brand. Secondly, while it still doesn't justify Cody losing at Mania or opening the show with the World Heavyweight Championship match, I like the next chapter in the Bloodline saga. My man Jay has been an emotional wreck all year. Man's been stressed.
Straight up.
I thought the Bloodline stuff was really good.
It's not cinema. Stop it. Stop with the cinema shit, you guys. I don't care that, let people have fun. Fuck having fun. Just talk about wrestling like it is. It's a wrestling angle with 5 wrestlers doing wrestling thing. There's no Martin Scorsese. There's no fucking Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. This isn't fucking cinema. It's pro wrestling put on by a sex pest named Vince McMahon. So relax.
Yo.
Tired of y'all.
So from that twin blade,
bring Will back.
Sing it with me. Return of the Will. I guess to the tune of Return of the Mac.
Yep.
I got Double or Nothing ready to go. I'm gonna watch 2D versus Miyu again while I wait for the pre-show to start. Y'all got time? Check it out on Fight Plus. Definitely check out that show. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things about it.
Yo, Miyu has been out here. I saw her training with Natty and TJ at their spot. She's like making her excursions worth it. It's just super dope.
See from Tony P, a fucking box out, and we would be in the finals.
Straight up.
now we have to beat the Celtics in Boston. Not impossible,
but hard.
But the situation any Heat fan, not the situation any Heat fan wanted. After tonight, how much change y'all feel we'll see with the women's booking in AEW? More good or kind of the same? You definitely got to box out on that play, and that is over. But I feel like when you look at the replay, Tatum was ready for the rebound on the other side anyway. Maybe he wouldn't have had enough time to get a shot back up like White did.
Right.
But I still can't believe that they lost this match on a tip-in at the buzzer.
This is wild as an ending that you could do
This is crazy, and I do definitely feel like now that it's gone 7 and we're going back to Boston, Boston is probably going to win. This is a nightmarish collapse for the Miami Heat.
Because the last time we were on this podcast, we talked heavy of Jimmy Buckets.
And I mean, we said then, we've seen crazy things happen, and this is definitely some crazy shit. So
it's them NBA writers, baby. They got it. The pen game is hard.
Yeah, and I actually I don't think that Tatum or the Boston Celtics as a whole have been consistent. So it is wild that they could possibly be a game away from going back to the finals.
It could go either way at this point.
Yeah, it's essentially a sudden death game, but it is definitely not in Heat's favor. Not just going into Boston and having home court, but just having the confidence of winning 3 straight games when everybody thought you were done.
Seriously. Everyone counted them out.
I don't know, man. It's not looking good for Miami.
Are we not giving the Celtics enough love, maybe?
I mean, I do think they deserve credit for coming back and weathering the storm, but I don't know, man. I think the Celtics have been such a bipolar team this entire playoff run. I don't know, but if they win this game on Monday and make it to the finals, all credit due to those guys.
Straight up.
First question on, do we think the women's booking will change? I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how much changes with Collision. I don't know if we're going to end up with a new champion tonight. If Tony ends up champion again, I don't know what that means. I really enjoyed Tony's first reign as champion, so if we're getting back to her being a fighting champion, I would be into that.
If she wins and is still included in this outcast shit and still in the mix of it, I don't know how much I'm gonna enjoy it. But if they get her back to how she was when she was the first time champion and fighting every week and defending the championship and building stock on that belt, I'm all in. We could potentially see 2 women's title changes tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting developments going into this summer.
Yeah, I'll say this for the outsiders. I think that the outsider stuff has improved drastically with Shida on TV because it gives another hot baby face for them to be up against.
True.
And I will say, putting the title on Tony at least gives the outcasts something to have bragging rights, because at this point they've been just coming around and saying we're bigger stars than you,
but they're not proving it because
we're better than you. But giving that stable the belt, that kind of changes things.
I see it.
So I don't know. I would like to hope that the booking of AEW's women's division gets better from now on. I do think that the booking for both women's title matches for tonight could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
And hopefully with more TV time, we're now looking at 5 hours of television a week. We get, better storylines for the women.
Facts.
So let's see, from Bizarro Big L, Celtics in 7. We're going to bring you some sauce, Will. Derek White brought it, and much love to Will. Gonna watch tonight and be in Boston for AEW. Keep killing it. F. LeBron and Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
They as bad as Jimmy G, failing his physical. Top match tonight. Man, I will say that too. Derek White deserves a lot of credit.
Thanks.
Derek White has been playing really well.
Balling.
Even beyond this tipping, he's been playing really well throughout the playoffs. I think he's been a guy that a lot of people weren't looking out for. And like I said, he showed up. He's been showing up all playoffs long. I think that's it for Humper Chats for now.
Mm-hmm.
See if I missed any super chats.
Grapsody. Oh, yeah. And then our top match of the night for tonight, I think we kind of got into it. We're all kind of under the impression that Anarchy in the Arena is going to probably be the one. That's the one, just because of the talent and the star power involved. Last year was insane. But this year you got Kenny, Brian, Mox, the Elite, the Bucks. Like, this is crazy.
Let's see. OG Graps, happy day, Double or Nothing Day, fellas, from my man Monkey Decam. Appreciate you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, from Reggie Simmons, just showing love to the show. Can't wait for Double or Nothing. Peace to the whole Grapsody fam.
Appreciate you, Reg, always.
Let's see, from Knife Mean, need to know if you found an answer for the Moné forum. I'm assuming that means was she supposed to be at the forum? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think the timing of everything, of course, unfortunately, again, she got hurt, but I think the quote from the media call from Tony and the fact that they showed Mercedes for the first time on AEW television and a recap for the match, I think that says, if anything, that Mercedes was planned to come in this year.
Yeah, I don't think she was going to be at the forum, because I think she was always going to have her first thing out of WWE in New Japan, and I think that they had the deal and the contract in line, and it kind of felt like that with her first match. But on the same token, as Phil was saying, I think that she was probably going to be at Forbidden Door, which is like now.
It does seem like she was positioned to come in, at least in June.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean she's not going to ever come. I think that this is good news for anybody that was hoping she's going to come to AEW. This seems, if anything, when we get into the Willow Mercedes talk, we'll get more into it. But I think this is a good sign for her showing up in AEW.
Just seeing her on that video package was crazy to me, honestly.
Yeah. Let's see, from Bragav S. Rahan. I think I'm pronouncing that right. My bad if I didn't. I keep seeing LA Knight get more cheers and better crowd reactions each week. Do you think he will ever get a push towards at least a mid-card title? I think that he will. I think LA Knight is extremely over. I'm a fan. They would be crazy to not push this guy at this point, because, like you said, the reaction to him is getting louder and louder every week.
I think they're going to. I think Gunther. I think the mid card. I think Gunther's gonna give up the IC title and get into the world title. The world title hunt, and that's gonna help a lot of the talent that are kind of floundering away, like LA Knight's position. Yeah. Money in the Bank this year, I think, is going to be very important. I think we're finally going to get how am I trying to say this? An unsuspected one, like one that's going to.
I kind of think Cody's winning it.
You think so? I don't want that.
I think Cody's winning it.
I take it back.
From Brent Lockman. So how far are we from Will running a presser with the Grapsody boys asking questions? It will be amazing.
Shit, probably tonight. I don't know.
I don't know.
He's going to be there, but I don't know if he'll be running.
I don't know. From Jake Salazar, put Willow on the show, William. He's gone, man. Sorry.
He's out. But now that he's gone, AEW Collision, they tried to say that your boys, Philip Lindsey and Righteous Reg, they try to take us somewhere after we reported last week on this podcast that rumor of this show being at Daly's Place was never a thing. Somebody just fucking got their shit off online and it worked. They slandered us. They said, you guys better get your apologies ready. And we were like, what, bro? We knew what was going on here. The news came out this week in Chicago, Collision. It's going down. It's lit. And the bro's going to be there. I don't care. What do you want from me?
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the Collision update.
Mm-hmm.
So we got the 2 weeks of announcement from it, which was a little clumsy. But it seemed like there was some stuff that needed to be cleared up back behind the scenes before that he could formally announce that the debut of AEW Collision would take place in the city of Chicago, the Mecca for wrestling, at the United Center. And of course, now everyone is thinking that we're back on the map. This is probably crazy to think about. Since All Out, this is the first official sign that CM Punk will be back on AEW television very soon. Yeah, it was a lot that went into this. I mean, because we had heard for so long that this was going to be the CM Punk show. I never thought that had changed. I'm not sure on everything that happened that put a hold on them changing the announcement. From my point of view, I'm of the assumption, and of course this is assumption, this is just speculation, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm of the assumption that Punk didn't want to be on the announcements because Punk is very old school. Punk wants to do wrestling stuff on wrestling television. He doesn't want to do it through press releases. He wants to do the rollout on his own. If you pay attention to what the guy has been doing, and I've been saying for months, the guy's back outside. He's been more visible. He's been trying to do the rollout on his own. And so I kind of feel like that's why he didn't want to be on the announcement. Now, maybe there's something else to it of why he was taking off the announcement. I don't know. But the other part of it is there was some legal stuff to get out of the way. I know that there was that rumor that he was sent some legal threats, and that's why, now he's back on board. From my understanding, him and Tony Khan were always on the same page. There was just some miscommunications on some things like the Ace Steel thing. And Ace Steel stuff just kind of came up this week. We got the news from the Nick Hausman report last week that Ace has been rehired for a while, but I think there was some confusion on would he be a television, and now we formally know that he will be working remote, but he is back with the company. That is kind of like a weird conflict of interest, and I do see how that he would step on some toes, being that this guy got into a fight with three of the most well-known stars of this company, and they probably don't want to see this guy backstage. So I get it.
He bit one of the biggest wrestling stars in the fucking world. So
So it is what it is. But I think the legal stuff was more of, hey, we got to send him updated stuff because he is an employee of this company. We need you to sign this and sign this. I think from the Nick Hausman stuff that I saw this week, he was saying that there was some NDA stuff in there. Of course, when the guy came back from an injury last year and he hopped around the ring and did some Snow Angels next episode, he decided to shoot on some people backstage. And so now they're probably looking around like, yeah, we need you to come back here and sign this and let us know you're not going to come back here and talk about certain things if you're back on TV. This is just, formalities for all corporations. Everybody wants to cover their ass. And so I get it. Yes, it's weird that they didn't have all those ducks in a row before the announcement, but I think it's more going on than we understand because there's a lot of moving parts here. But like I said, officially, AEW Collision in Chicago, Illinois on June 17th. That's coming up. And then they're going to have the other show in Chicago at the Wintrust on June 21st for Dynamite. So that's also weird because people are saying that the Collision taping isn't selling well, but you're trying to hit that market twice within a week. I don't know how well it's going to work.
How far apart did they go on sale? Because I saw a lot of that talk. Also, but usually, I guess it kind of seems like they're trying to sell two different shows, right? You know what I mean? Like they're marketing it as if you go to Collision, it's going to be kind of a completely different show than or as far as wrestlers at least, then it's going to be on Dynamite. So that's going to try to be the sell. But it's still, no matter what, trying to sell 2 big shows within a week from each other is going to be weird. Tough. It's going to be interesting. I was with the legal letter stuff. I think people were kind of under the impression that they sent, like, they were suing CM Punk or something. When you hear legal letter, you're like, oh shit, like they sent him something, to take him to court. But no, it's more like contract, things that are involved with him coming back more than trying to keep him out of here, I think.
Yeah, I think the way that they framed the legal stuff,
somebody
definitely
somebody did this.
Somebody did that. The way they framed the legal letters, I just don't think that. Again, we talked a bit about this last week. That people get information, and the way people decide to editorialize it or frame it, you can make it look like a negative or positive. I don't think this was a negative. I think that, no, I need to get this guy in line. There needs to be in writing that you're going to do these shows. There's certain stuff that you can and can't talk about. That's just the nature of the business.
And wrestlers have like lawyers and shit. Like it's not just like Tony Khan and CM Punk talking and that's it. Like, no, they go through. There's all kinds of people that are involved.
No, that's just the nature of the business. And people getting all frantic. Oh, legal's involved. I'm of the opinion when somebody got assaulted that legal was probably involved since September. I'm not sure why people
legal's been involved off rip.
So no, I don't know. I just think people are taking all of these things that we don't need to know, and there are people that don't know how to decipher these kind of things publicly, and so they take it all as, oh, the sky is falling. But it's business.
Right.
So it is what it is.
Okay, so does that we're there tonight? Do you think we end this show? Maxwell Jacob Friedman, belt held high in the air, cell phone call, Tony Khan, I'm back. It's your boy. Let's do this.
I will say that I think with main eventing with the 4 pillars, you've got to close the show on something big. And I don't think you have anything bigger than the potential announcement that CM Punk will be coming back to television. Now, maybe they're going to hold off on it, but I think with Double or Nothing, you're going to have more eyes on your product. I think tonight is the night to hint at it in some way. Now, there have been hints on it on television. Of course, Punk has been doing the IG post with Collision themed IG stories.
He had like the ticket link or something saying like, let's fucking go or something.
Yeah. Brody King.
Brody.
Posted something.
Everybody's being so funny.
Yeah. People are definitely getting their stuff off. Wednesday during the Bryan and Moxley promo, Mox dropped best in the world in that promo. I think at this point it's pretty
especially after that. Remember last week with the Elite and Kenny was saying he's straight edge and they doing. I'm like,
it's pretty obvious that Punk will be back on television.
Y'all are being funny.
It seems like we're probably getting the Joe match because Joe has been in all of the Collision stuff so far. Miro has also been in the Collision commercials. Andrade, Scorpio Sky, we've seen a little bit glimmers of. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what this means. Definitely more excited for live wrestling in Chicago, Illinois. I will be in the building. Listen, part of me wants to get into another victory lap about Punk getting back, but I know that it is a very divisive subject for some people. Some people are not happy about him being back. Some people don't know how to feel about this. I don't know. I think that it's going to be a huge risk bringing him back, not just in the locker room, but we don't know how fans are going to react to this yet. I think that's going to be very interesting in the weeks to come.
Like a kind of elephant in the room. Like people could not be buying tickets to Collision because they don't want to see CM Punk. You know what I mean?
This is different than 2021 where he still had a lot of goodwill with a lot of AEW fans, and it was still fresh and new for a lot of us. We still wanted to see it. And again, I still want to see him wrestle, but I understand that everyone doesn't feel the same way about that.
Facts.
So it is what it is, but we're here now. It's like I said,
It's crazy.
It's still wild to me that like we're almost a year out from All Out, and we're officially back in the weeds.
Wow.
CM Punk will be back in the fray.
What happened last Double or Nothing? He won the belt and then broke his foot fucking 3 days later.
Yeah.
That's when everything started to go crazy, actually.
Yeah. Nothing was the same.
Man, straight up. Damn.
Let's see from a new record. Do we know what Brian's creative input was in WWE? I don't. I know that he had some input over there in his storylines. I know that he had input in stuff like Ali was pushed big into the title picture at that one point. He had input on like Kofi Mania and some other things, but I don't know the specifics of it.
Yeah, so when he was out when he was retired, he was working kind of behind the scenes with the younger guys, doing some things. And then when he got back, he had continued, like Phil said, had a hand in Kofi Mania, had a hand in the Ali stuff. So it was just more like, you have one of the best wrestlers in the world, like, let's ask Brian what he thinks type of thing, more than like Brian's on the squad. And I think like what's going to happen now, it'll be more of the Brian's on the squad. But previously, it was just kind of like, shit, you're one of the best wrestlers in the world. What do you think about that? Or what kind of ideas do you have?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he does over there with Collision. And like I said, we have one of the greatest wrestlers in the world, and you know, a lot of people are going to want to work with him.
And Punk has been wanting to work with him.
Yeah,
we know for so long.
I mean, I think that's one of the most exciting things about this is the possibility of getting CM Punk versus Brian on AEW television. They've stayed away from each other for the entire time that Punk is there. So if we're
if we're coming back with him and Joe, and like
it just makes too much sense. Yeah. So I'm definitely excited about that matchup if we get it. Let's see from Leonard Aarons III. 364 days ago, Wardlow and MJF opened the show. Almost a year later, these two are AEW and TNT champs, respectively. Also, how soon before MJF versus Cole? I am the belief that Cole will be the next challenger for MJF.
Right after this?
Well, I mean, of course, after Forbidden Door. Because I'm assuming MJF's going to have a match at Forbidden Door, but I'm of the belief that he's the next big challenger for MJF.
I mean, it feels like it if, you know, coming back and being in the thing with Chris Jericho. For some, the next step after Jericho can be a great thing and on the way. And I think that's how it's going to be for Cole. For others, Ricky Starks, I don't know. The verdict's still out.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm also really interested to see what happens with Bullet Club in the next few months, because they haven't recruited anybody from AEW yet. And I had to assume the way they're still waving the flag, they just put out the new Bullet Club Gold shirt. We're probably going to get some new members soon. So
Bullet Club Gold Dust, like somebody said. Bullet Club Goldberg, maybe.
Please no, don't do this. That sounds awful. That sounds absolutely awful.
Like, I'm just making suggestions.
Don't do this to me, man. That sounds horrible. Let's see. From Ricardo, surname redacted. No better Oops champion than Willow.
Right.
Like I said, big shout out to Willow. It was really good to see her yesterday.
I saw Willow 2 days in a row, and she looked great both times. She's amazing. The belt is awesome. It almost feels like that's the funniest thing is like when they originally showed the belt, hella people were like, they made that belt for Willow. And so, because, you know, the colors and everything, like it looks like, no, that's her belt.
It definitely fits her well. Let's see. Jake Salazar there. They was dragging Raj through the mud and back.
Man, they had him strapped to the back of a horse how they was dragging his ass.
Raj had an interesting few days, man.
Spaces, you were in there?
No comment. No comment. See, from Johnny, Goldberg debuts the Spear and Jackhammer MJF.
We were making Goldberg jokes, Johnny. No, please don't.
Don't do this to us, Tony Khan. Do not do this, man. If Goldberg shows up for anything, I think the route is to go with the Wardlow match. But other than that, I have no real interest in anything.
I don't think we need it, bro. Like Tony Khan does this nostalgia thing pretty all right. I mean, you know, like Billy Gunn and Jeff Jarrett and fucking Sting are, Sting probably the best example of like he uses Sting in like the best spots. I think like every time he utilizes him, it goes off. But Goldberg's not gonna be jumping off of things, putting people through tables, and like Sting didn't come and do 1998 Sting. He like came and tried to work with AEW. Goldberg is coming to do 1998 Goldberg, and like I don't want that.
But see, I think if you bring him in, you're not bringing him in for a run like Sting. You're probably bringing him in for like some one-off matches here and there. And if you're going to do the Wardlow match, I think that can be good. I don't know, but
if they did like that one Brock Lesnar match, the one Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match that I like, where they just like beat each other up for like 7 straight minutes and then it was over, I'd be into it.
Yeah. See, from Jake Salazar, still pushing for my Naito versus Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door.
That's a popular one.
That is definitely the agenda for me. I think that would be an amazing match. They've got to get Naito on Forbidden Door this year because he missed it last year.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get into some Night of Champions.
Wow. You already had a little bit of a victory lap so far. So
yeah, that's good. I thought that this was a pretty good pay-per-view.
I liked it
from start to finish. Other than like Natalya versus Rhea, that was probably the only low point. And it's not that it was a bad match. It just kind of felt like a nothing match, just a way to get Rhea in front of that crowd.
Right. Nobody believed Natty was winning.
Ever. Yeah, and I think Natalya is like that is into doing the Saudi matches. We've heard her speak about doing them before. And the Saudi crowd is used to her now. So I think it was a good way to get both of those women on the card.
Speaking of women's matches, I thought that Trish Stratus looked great. I thought that you kind of forget, because I was thinking about it as the match was going on. When Trish first came in, like she was a valet. Like she was working with TNA, Testin Albert, I remember. And like she wasn't, there's been stories all the time. There's documentaries. They didn't take these people serious. They didn't take any of the women's wrestlers serious at all at that point. And so when she started cooking, it was like, for me, I was in my hardcore fucking ECW Ring of Honor stage. So it wasn't connecting with me because it was like, well, they're not really, I don't know, something wasn't right about it. And you kind of forget that she's a veteran in this. And I think that match with Becky showed that, because like she controlled a lot of the match, and like in a good way too. Like, Becky is Becky, but like Trish, something about her, like her energy and her confidence like really hit yesterday. I was like, yo, Trisha's out here really doing this.
Yeah, I think Trish looks great. She stays in great shape.
She
so
really
there's like you don't have to worry about her coming back and looking like gas or anything like that. But I thought she wrestled a really good match. I was surprised how much I enjoyed this match. I think what they did with Becky, getting busted open again, her having the bride gear as well, looks dope. I don't know how I feel about Zoe Stark getting involved, but I do think it's good that
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I think they've integrated the NXT call-ups this time around much better than we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have her in that spot with 2 major stars, because that's going to elevate her.
Does this lead to a Becky and Zoe feud, do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a way
does Trish stay on? Is Zoe Trish's hit woman gunner, whatever type person, or what?
Yeah, I think that this is a good way to take Trish off of TV for a few months, and now we can do the Zoe and Becky stuff until Trish probably comes back ahead of SummerSlam. And so I think that's where the rematch is going to be. Okay. And yeah, because I mean, Trish is part-time. She's not going to be on TV until August. So, I mean, she'll probably be back here and there, but that way you have a ready-made feud for Becky to do in the meantime.
I like what, along what you're saying about the NXT call-ups, they have been doing a lot better. Like the video packages that they've been showing on Raw and SmackDown this is probably like one of the best call-up surroundings that they've had in a long time. Because even like for a long time, it felt like even people like Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura, like they had these great NXT runs and they wouldn't tell us about it. They wouldn't show us or give us any reason to care about anybody from NXT. And it feels like that thing has changed. Like they've put a lot of emphasis on Zoe Starks. It wasn't surprising that she came out, because I've seen how they've been treating her as a call up. So good for her.
Yeah,
she wilding on her music takes, but
I didn't see the music takes. I probably don't want to see it now, but I'm gonna take your word for it. But yeah, I thought this was a good.
She was on some rap, some boom boom music type bullshit like everybody
is. Yeah, I thought this was a good match. I think it was the right outcome, so we can keep this feud going. And I thought all of the women have looked great. I think we've come a long way from having them come out there with the tights and the big T-shirt.
Yeah,
I think there's
that was weird. Those first couple of Saudi shows.
Yeah, I think they've put some more creativity.
The tights and the big T-shirt.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Got pajamas on.
Bro. Yeah, it looked crazy. I think there's a lot more creativity that's going into putting the women's gear together. And adhering to the culture over there in Saudi Arabia. So that's cool to see. And there were 3 women's matches on this card. So that is
when they started, they were like, are we going to be able to have one? Yeah. Are we even going to be able to take women over there? And we went from that to 3 women's matches. And they were all pretty fun, besides the short one. But yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Asuka is now the new Raw, SmackDown, one of the champions. She has the belt because they haven't made the swap yet. But she beat Bianca Belair. Bianca had an amazing run. She's not retiring. She's going to have the belt again very soon. You guys relax. But yeah, Asuka, as Phil Lindsey has came on this podcast multiple times and said, has been on a run and deserves this. Like, there's been so many, honestly, bullshit bookings of Asuka since she's came onto the main roster. I thought her losing to Charlotte off the rip was terrible. That's such a bad idea.
I've said for the longest time that Asuka does not have a signature win on the main roster.
You have said that.
Every win that she's had has been because somebody else stepped in or she was the footnote in somebody else's story, and I've hated that.
Or they give her the big win before she has the big loss.
I feel like they still made a mistake by not just giving her the win at WrestleMania. It's very transparent that they wanted Bianca to break the record before they gave her the win. Like, that's even more clear now that Asuka won.
Yeah.
But I thought this was honestly the best match on the card. This was my favorite match of the night. Afternoon. This was my favorite match.
That's crazy that you say that, because we started this show with the World Heavyweight Championship Finals. AJ Styles taking on your favorite wrestler in the damn world, Seth Rollins, with a wild entrance top thing.
But that's actually not true. My favorite wrestler is Asuka. And so, I did think this was the best match on the show.
Okay.
I thought that the way they wrestled this match was very similar to the WrestleMania match.
Which was a great match.
But this was actually better. I thought they leaned more into the power or strong woman stuff versus the technician stuff in this one. And I thought it was really good that Asuka ended up outsmarting her with a really cool, inventive finish. She used the miss early in the match and missed. And when Bianca went for the KOD, she took the dip from her lip and then used it to blind Bianca and ended up blasting her with a kick afterwards. When I saw that first kick, I was like, nah, it's over. I was like, get out of here, man. When she's in her bag and I seen them first 2 kicks land, I was like, nah, this is over. But no, this was really great. I think it was a great way for Bianca to go out. I would have preferred if it happened at WrestleMania, but I feel like this is the closest we're going to get to a signature win for Asuka.
Facts.
And she deserved it. She's been deserving of this for a long time. It was really cool afterward to see her get her Triple H pointing pick like it was still NXT days. Definitely restored the feeling.
Speaking of Triple H, what are you doing out here, bro? I don't need to. Why are you in this ring right now? Is the immediate thing I'm thinking, bro. I get it. Like, just let this man be in here by himself. Why do you got to be in here posing? It felt real Dana White-ish to me, and I hated it so much. I see what you're going for. I just hate it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is good though. I think hopefully Asuka gets a good reign. I'm assuming part of the reason that you're putting the belt on her now is because you're probably going to do this stupid title swap. You didn't want to do the title swap before Bianca broke the record because it would, diminish it. So I'm assuming we're getting a title swap, or maybe they're going to switch brands. I don't know.
Where do you think Asuka goes from here as a contender? Who do you think's next?
I think that you've got to spend the next few months building up Aew as the next challenge. I think Aew versus Asuka should be the SummerSlam match because, as we've seen many times in wrestling, you just never know what'll happen. You might think that you can do this match, and then you can't. So I feel like you've got this match you've got the match on the silver platter right now. The crowd was into EO in Puerto Rico. I think you're ready for the face turn. Mm-hmm. I think it's now or never. I think you've got to go with EO versus Asuka at SummerSlam. If that's not the plan, I don't know what we're doing. But yeah, let's get into this World Heavyweight Championship match, because I have been on this podcast for the longest saying that Seth Rollins is the guy. He deserves his spot. And then they did what they did at WrestleMania 35 anyway and had him open the show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of when it was happening. Like, oh, they're doing the WrestleMania 35 thing again, which is... I'm like, okay, I know WWE likes to tell stories like that, like as in, oh, Seth's he did it here, like, let's see him do it again. But it was just so, like, to start off the show kind of like deflated, because like this championship, man, like this is a brand new championship and you're just like throwing it out there, first match, blah, blah, blah. I know some people say first match is just as good as the last match sometimes, but that's bullshit. Like, let this guy... have the show should have went off the air with Seth Rollins holding the belt high.
I agree. But it is what it is. I know that he feels like if I'm not going to go on last, I would like to go on first, because there are two spots that people kind of want to be. They want to be the guy that comes out and tries to steal the show, or they want to be the last guy. I think in establishing that belt, it isn't a good sign that you immediately show everybody like Roman is still the priority. Mm-hmm. And no matter what, even if Roman is not defending his world heavyweight title, he's still going to main event. And the next person is still going to be, lower on the totem pole. I don't think that that's good.
I'm laughing at that rumor that came out a couple of days ago where it said, essentially it was like, oh, Triple H has to ask Roman's permission if he wants to go on last. And I was like, that sounds ridiculous. And then we get to the show and like, no, Roman is actually on last. It's like, dude, why are they doing this? I get it. Like, it's hard to do that angle that they did in the main event in any other place than the main event, but you got to figure it out. And I guess we could start with they should have been doing this angle at WrestleMania a month ago.
And then, you've also had this rumor out there that he was supposed to be going back to film, and that's why he went on first, because he needed to leave. I don't know if that's true. Mm-hmm. I don't really believe that, but it is what it is. I thought this was a good match.
What are they going to have, one single plane to drive Seth Rollins out of there? That sounds crazy.
While his wife still had a match on the car, and I'm pretty sure that Rue went with them. Yeah. Because Rue has been traveling everywhere with them.
Come on.
So I don't know. But no, I thought this was a good match.
The match was tight.
It was AJ versus Seth, and I mean these two guys are workers, so it's going to be good. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like something that lit the world on the fire. It felt predictable because most of us knew that.
This is Seth Rollins.
But at the same time, I feel like this was earned. Like I said, if you go back a year ago, the Elimination Chamber. Brock was throwing these guys around in this arena at Elimination Chamber.
Forgot about that.
And completely dominated this match. And now you
got
these guys back, and the two guys in a world title picture. I've been waiting for a while to see AJ back in a world title picture. So this was a treat, and I thought it was a good match. It was the right finish. My guy is back. We're back up, man. I think he's going to make that title matter. He immediately said, I will be on TV every week, unlike a certain champion.
Right.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with this. Not the greatest start in the world. Very convoluted reason for needing the new belt. But he's got a lot of work to do to show people that this belt does matter. But if anybody can do it, I think Seth can.
You think two questions. Do you think that they're going to run him and Cody at some point? And what do you think his SummerSlam plans are? I could see maybe a heel Drew McIntyre coming back.
I think Drew makes a lot of sense for his SummerSlam opponent. I don't think that they're going to run Cody because you have to hand Cody another loss. Because I don't think Cody is going to win that belt.
No.
And I don't think it's a good idea to put him in a feud where he's going to lose again if you're going to go back to the Roman match. I think that they're going to spend the next few months building him back up, and I think he's going to win Money in the Bank.
Okay.
And if if I were booking this thing and I fantasy booked it for Bleacher Report, I said, and the outcome of this match kind of went the way that I wanted it to, with a hitch in it, but we'll get into that in a sec. I think that they should build up Cody and continuing to show that, this adversity storyline they're doing.
Yeah.
But because the guy is clearly still incredibly over. That response to him when he came out to that press conference was just outstanding.
How it's went from, it used to just be people screaming "whoa" to them screaming the entire song. Now
this guy is like,
he's over.
This guy is a global superstar at this point, man. You've got to put the belt on this guy as soon as possible. And I feel like with the outcome of the main event, it feels like it's coming. So I'm assuming he will be challenging at SummerSlam. The Money in the Bank briefcase is kind of the only way he can get that. The only way he can do it because they're on different brands. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming he's going to win Money in the Bank. But yeah, it just what a weird way here. Yes. But in order, for what you said with Seth, who do I think is going to be a SummerSlam opponent? He's got some options. I mean, you could go with Shinsuke because they've been building Shinsuke back up.
Get him away from the Miz, please.
Please get him away from the Miz. I mean, the closest heel adjacent guy, of course, you got is Gunther, but I don't think they're going to go the Gunther route.
I wouldn't think so.
Because you still need to establish who's the guy to beat Gunther. I still think it's Sheamus, but you still got to get there. Maybe
brands now too.
Maybe they run Finn Rollins back at SummerSlam.
Someone, Zeno Hour in the chat says Damian Priest. Damian Priest built up his stock pretty high with that Bunny match. He's going up there. I like it.
Yeah, I kind of would like to see the Finn rematch at SummerSlam because of the history there.
And that match that they had in the tournament was fire too.
Yeah, but they've got plenty of options there. And maybe I've seen people say Bronson.
I like Bronson.
Bronson Reed would be a good match, but I still feel like
But for SummerSlam, it has to be big.
It has to be a big match. And Seth is notoriously great at SummerSlam. He's like Mr. SummerSlam. So I feel like he's going to have a big match there to establish that belt is like the workhorse belt.
Totally.
Then let's see. The match after that was the chopper.
After that was the Trish and Becky match was second.
That's right. That was the second match. We talked about that a little bit. I thought it was a great match.
Ali and Gunther, I think, was next.
Yeah, Ali Gunther was very good. I did not
great entrance for Ali.
Yeah, agreed. That was another one where we talked about how Sammy got to represent, and I thought Ali came out looking great. I think Ali had a good showing in the match. It never felt like he was going to win, but there were some pretty good. No, like realistically, it never felt like he was going to win.
No, not for 1 minute.
He did have some good hope spots in there, and Gunther is at the top of his game right now, man. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, and he's been doing an amazing job with that belt. Definitely one of the best intercontinental champions ever.
Facts.
And I mean, he doesn't have bad matches with that belt.
I haven't seen
doesn't.
Yeah. So it's impossible almost at this point.
Yeah. We got into the Asuka Bianca match. Got into Rhea. Brock versus Cody Rhodes ended in a technical submission.
How did it start? Cody Rhodes has a broken arm. You guys, what are we doing here? What is this? What is this? I was like, okay, you guys are going to keep going with this sympathy thing because he had the purple titty. Let's do it again. Let's just manufacture it this time. Classic WWE.
Well, I mean, it isn't just classic WWE. You know, this is all up Cody's alley.
This is super
to play up this injury, to be the ultimate baby face and underdog going into the match. This is absolutely what Cody wants to do. And I thought the build this time around was actually better than the WrestleMania build.
I thought so too.
I thought the promo, as clumsy as it was during the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, was good. I've been enjoying Brock being a heel again. This match. I thought it was, it's pretty much what I expected. Brock beat this man down for most of the match. He dominated for most of the match. All of that stuff is good because Brock is great at that. Brock is great at looking like this dominant, unstoppable force. And I kept expecting Cody to have this crafty win here, kind of like he had at Backlash, but he ended up passing out to the Kimura lock.
Yeah, they used that finish from Backlash in this finish, but it went extra.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great way to protect him to just say that he refused to tap. And I know people aren't going to like that because people are,
because that sucks.
I mean, so didn't tap out. He passed out to the Kimura lock, and you built this up because he had the arm injury from Raw. And so I kind of figured that that's where this was going. I assumed going into this match that Brock was going to lose via DQ, but he won outright here by technical submission. I didn't like the finish of this match.
I didn't like MMA move finishers off rip, like no matter who does them. Anytime anybody has an armbar finish, because if you watch real MMA, nobody has an armbar on for 5 minutes and shit. That shit's on for 30 seconds at max, or your arm's broken. So anytime there's like this thing, Brock has him locked in the goddamn submission for 5 minutes or something. It's like he'd be dead or something. Or he would rip his arm off by this point if this was real. So like, why? And then they love this baby face. I'm not gonna tap out. I'll pass out instead. And it's just like
it worked so well for Austin.
Yeah, and we're still running it back.
It was a career-making finish for Austin, but I just didn't like it here. I think it fell flat.
If there ain't no blood, it don't hit the same.
Yeah, I understood what they were trying to do. I didn't really like it. The match itself was fine. I enjoyed the match, but I did not like the finish. It just didn't work for me. And again, I get what they're trying to do with Cody. I get the story they're trying to tell, but I think it's just such a convoluted way to get back there. And nothing they've done since WrestleMania has really disproven my point that he should have just won the belt at WrestleMania.
Are they going to run this match again?
Yes, I think that a big part of him losing here is that when Cody does finally beat Roman, Brock is eventually going to be one of his challengers. And I think that's the way to build this back up because Brock could not challenge Roman for the title again. Right. This is the only way to get Brock back into the world title picture, as he's now earned it by beating Cody in his match. But yeah, I don't want it, but I definitely feel like that's where we're going. Maybe sometime next year. I mean, maybe if Cody wins it
at Mania.
Maybe if Cody wins it at SummerSlam, maybe that's going to be the WrestleMania match. I don't know. But
he wins it at SummerSlam, WrestleMania.
Maybe Survivor Series. Yeah. I don't know. It does feel like they're building something else. Like I feel like we're gonna get Roman versus Rollins in some way.
Oh, if you saying SummerSlam out loud or Survivor Series out loud, I hope they stop that.
I don't
want to see champion versus champion.
I hope they don't do that either. But I do feel like they have something with this Roman and Rollins stuff. Like all the stuff Rollins has been saying about this guy in these promos, it's been fire. I think he has never beat this guy, so he deserves this. He deserves the match.
Next year is big 4-0 for WrestleMania. Run that match, dude.
Yeah, I think if he's still world heavyweight champion by that point, I think another way to put some prestige on that belt is to have Roman versus Rollins for that belt.
Run it.
And you could easily run that being like, that's a belt Roman has not won yet. Mm-hmm. I think going with that for WrestleMania could be cool, but
hope a unification match, absolutely not. No more. We're moving on. We're not doing any more.
Do not merge these belts. Do not try to put two belts.
Never.
Stardom. I'm looking at you too. I love Tam, but I do not agree with putting both those belts on her. I think it just immediately diminished Mina's win over Saya Kamatani. I don't like it. And like I said, that's as a fan of Tam. I think it diminishes Mina's win. She didn't even really get a good reign with that belt yet. I don't.
Because then what happens? You got two. I gotta beat you for one, and if you're gonna just forfeit one of them, why did you win it?
And then you book yourself in a corner with this as well. That now you have to figure out how to get one of those belts off of her, or both belts off her. And I also understand Tam was in a spot because she did get the Wrestle Kingdom match at the beginning of the year, and that match ended up being shorter than people expected, and she lost very fast. So I get that they want to give her something and build her back up, but it's gotten into overkill territory at this point. But yeah, no,
bookers can't help themselves, man.
Yeah, wasn't a fan of this finish, but I thought the match was good.
Yes,
I really enjoyed the match. Main event, the Bloodline, Solo and Roman versus what some people are deeming wild Sammy Owens. Okay. And I thought this was great. I thought like we talked about, the interest was really good for Sammy. I think it put Sammy over as a big star in Saudi Arabia.
It did.
I really like the fact that he's gotten a main event so many shows, and I think ending the show with him basically winning and basically ending his part in the Bloodline storyline and coming out on top and having really split them up, and coming out on top, holding 2 belts over Roman while he's outside the ring. I thought that was fire. I think that was a great visual. The match itself was good.
There were some Roman shenanigans.
I mean, if you are tired of some of the Roman match dynamics, like I kind of am, I could see you not enjoying it. But I thought the match was great. Was good for the most part. We got the ref bump that we've seen in all the Roman
can't
matches.
help it.
You just can't help yourself. We got but I thought the dramatics of this match were amazing. Yeah. I thought the execution of Jimmy's turn was really good.
It's just us now.
Yeah, no, I thought him getting his shit off during it. Like, nah, man, I'm your brother.
Yep, we the ones, not him. Yeah.
I thought all of that was fire. I thought Jay still being conflicted, and I think the best thing about it, because I mean, break it down from start to finish. We got to the ref bump. Solo was dominating and getting ready to seemingly win this match. Usos accidentally give him 2 super kicks. Roman sees it, gets back in the ring, turns into an argument. He pie faces Jimmy. Jimmy has had enough because, as we know from the original run when he came back, Jimmy is nobody's bitch. And so he let him have it with that super kick while he was down. And the best part about this, they left no room up for you to guess and go, like, maybe this was in a heat of moment.
Oh, yeah.
And he fired off the second one, like, nah, it's on site for you. I'm done with this. And so now we're essentially in split for the Bloodline.
Yep.
They are officially imploded. Roman rolls out of the ring. Sammy eats a stunner and a haluva kick and champions retain.
I thought at one point that, because when Jimmy first hits the super kick and then he starts talking to Jay's like, we're not supposed to do this. We're supposed to do better than this. And I thought that was going to lead to the double super kick. I thought they were going to do the full execution there. They did it. They're going to stretch out the Jay shit some more.
Yeah.
But for that point, it felt like that they were going to do it. But yeah, both the Usos killed it. I love Jimmy's energy. I love him being like, nah, fuck this nigga. Like, we've been under this guy's just being terrible for a long time. And like, you're my brother. I don't care about nothing. Like, let's go.
Yeah, no, and Roman has had this come in because he's been talking down on these 2 dudes for a solid.
Roman said there ain't no more than one shit. That's out.
Been talking down on these dudes for a solid year, and he would not be champion without them. They have been supporting this guy from day one, and he has been doing nothing but mostly abusing these guys. He's had that super kick coming for a long time.
Yeah, and
so I thought this was a great way to end the show. I would have liked to see Rollins get his moment at the end, but I did think it was a great way to end the show with the Bloodline implosion stuff and Sammy coming out of it looking like the star that he deserves to be. The tag titles are now in a good spot. Hopefully now he has effectively moved on from the Bloodline stuff, and we can get some new feuds, build up some new guys for him. And man, let's get cooking with those tag titles again, because they are good. They are a good tag team, and I want to see them in some different matchups.
We've been talking for months about those tag team championships, and tag team wrestling in WWE is very sparse, hit or miss, and all this. But I think what has been happening since WrestleMania, main eventing WrestleMania, being involved in these big main events, like, they're building up the tag team championships to a good place that they haven't been in a long time. And I think that they're going to have some contenders over there now that they're done. with this bloodline shit. Hopefully, they might try to spin it back one more time on Raw because
they definitely might try to spin the block on us. Please don't do that. It's done. I think we've got We've got the best conclusion to Sammy's stuff with the bloodline. You don't need to go back to it. I think you've got to effectively move on from the Jay and Jimmy stuff soon. I could see them running a big tag match for Money in the Bank. Yeah. That's the rumor that we're probably going to get the Usos versus Solo and Roman, which means Roman will not be defending his belt again. But I think it's fine if you're building towards that tag match there. I don't like that those titles aren't being defended at pay-per-views, but for story reasons, I think it'll be a good match.
And it's going to be cool to see another Money in the Bank. I think it's their next show. That's another out-of-the-country show. And London. They have been pretty lit. So
yeah, speaking of London, shout out to Simon Miller. Seen a homie yesterday. He stopped me and Will and had a pretty cool conversation. I've said before that before I got into podcasting, I used to watch a lot of What Culture stuff. Definitely I'm a fan of what he does over there with his recaps. When I did not watch Raw or SmackDown regularly, I would watch his recaps. Yeah. And he's great at it because
his show's popular.
He's good at, getting the positive sides out of there. He's not overly negative. Shout out to Simon Miller.
It's funny guy. Yeah, he has some good content.
He's great, man. And we need more content creators like him. So yeah, shout out to Simon.
Shout out to everybody that showed us love this weekend. It legit was funny, having a line of people trying to take pictures with us at the Fan Fest. It's like, what? How did this is amazing?
Remember when we were walking down the street and that guy yelled something at us, and he said it so fast that I couldn't catch it. And he was like, I think he said he's a big fan of you, and I was like, I couldn't catch it because it was like
this guy walked by and said, I'm a big fan of yours to Phil, but Phil couldn't because it was like it happened so fast.
It was like there were so many people walking along the strip, and it was just like everybody's moving so fast. So it was like I saw him make eye contact, and I went to say hey, and he said something. I just couldn't catch all of it. I was like, what was that? But it's just been a lot of interactions like that, man. Again, really appreciate you guys for rocking with us, man.
Y'all are amazing.
It is not lost on me that you guys continue to support the two of us. I still think that's dope. Appreciate y'all. With that said, let's get into some more super chats. See from Brent Lockman. Forbidden Door 2, my God, they wouldn't do MJF Sonata, right? That seems insane.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think they're going to do champions versus champions.
Yeah, I don't think so.
If I had to guess, I think MJF is gonna fight a big baby face that's like a staple there in New Japan, because he's been talking down on New Japan for over a year.
It has to be like a New Japan defender, and I don't know if Sonata represents that, even though he's the champ. It has to be
it has to be somebody in the vein of like Tanahashi, in my opinion.
Okada, somebody, and he's a world champ too, so it's going to be a big match.
Yeah, if Sonata does wrestle that card, I could see him defending his belt against somebody. Maybe
that's interesting.
Maybe Hanger. I don't know.
Okay.
That would be a good match.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
From Broadway Joe, rumors are women's titles are getting rebranded World and One Universal. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, that way you don't have to keep having these issues of
World One Universal.
Yeah, because if you don't have them be the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship, you don't have to keep running into the problem when you draft people.
This is done.
I do think that's the way to go.
Okay, I like that.
See from Leonard Irons III, world heavyweight title equals you're not beating Roman title. Also, Roman pushing 100,000 days and counting. We all know what this is. Sorry, Seth. No, you're right. It's very clear that they don't want to take those two belts off of him. But again, if I've said on this podcast numerous times, it was a mistake to put both those belts on.
They barely even want the dog to defend them.
It's ridiculous. I think him getting to the 1,000-day mark on a pay-per-view where he didn't defend the title is crazy. But again, it is where we're. I mean, still, shout out to Roman. That is a big accomplishment, holding those belts for 1,000 days.
They should have did this match. The tag match at Backlash, and then had Roman defend his belt against somebody.
Just lost it,
or that.
But if you were going to do that, I agree. Maybe you should have just done
the tag match at Backlash, did the angle at Backlash, and then
he could have defended the belt against somebody on the 1,000th day. it is what it is. Like I said, huge accomplishment for him. Shout out to Roman, but
1,000 days is nuts, and the climate of some people at one time say that belts are hot potatoed, and for them not to be hot potatoed, that fucking
and it's a man of color. You got to put that in there.
Shout out to Roman.
So
shout out to Joe.
He does deserve it.
Jay would say.
Shout out to Joe. See from Alex Silva. Got to write off Cody, or is he?
I'm tired of Cody being written off.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going to go with that because you've now told us as an audience that his arm is broken. So what are you going to do in the meantime?
Like, are you tomorrow on Raw? They're going to be like, "Hey, he got it fixed."
I don't know. I don't.
Booking themselves into a fucking corner.
Ricardo surname redacted. No no choke, no pass out.
Yeah. Straight up.
Yeah, I don't like the finish, but whatever. Leonard Aaron's third. I coined the phrase WWE thinks you're all idiots watching this a while back.
I coined the phrase.
And stuff like this, Cody and Brock is precisely what I'm talking about. No amount of suspension of the beliefs makes this even remotely digestible. No, it's nonsense. It would have been different if he used like a sleeper or something and just like rocked him to sleep. But, no, him passing out from a Kimura lock is ridiculous.
It's interesting,
but whatever. Vance Twin Blade, work wins. Not a single F was given that
Brock
day.
Lesnar's a sick individual, man.
See from Chi-Town Spurs, congrats to Seth on the NIT tournament victory.
MJF versus Suzuki. You just want to see MJF get beat up.
Nah, that would be crazy. Let me see if we got any Humper chats left, and we will jump into one of the best matches from last week. Let's see. I think we got two from Christian. Read the Chicago Phil. Watching the video of the man. Oh my God, he's back. The prodigal son returns. I haven't been this hyped, this happy, and popped this loud since I don't know. Shibata returned to wrestling. Let's go. Shout out to Christian, man. From Ronan Mike, I think I saw Reg talking about the homie Millhouse at the Hood Slam show the other night, but he vanished before I could say hi. Shout out to Price Style Pro, Grape House versus Pro. FSW. Oh,
in Vegas. I haven't been to a Hood Slam show in a while. There was a show after the GCW show the other night, followed immediately by Hood Slam. Shout out to all the homies in Hood Slam. Very fun time over there. Shout out to Dark Sheik. Shout out to everybody that represent out there. They had a really fun show. So yeah, you did see me, but I had to run out and do some very wild activities.
I heard stories from that night. I wasn't there.
Shout out to Kel. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Ryan.
He just finished off by saying if you're in Vegas or if you're a Vegas local, you need to check out the indie scene.
Straight up.
Yeah, definitely support the local indie scene. Let's get into this fucking match. Slap this week.
I was there.
Willow versus Mercedes at New Japan Resurgence. For my money, one of the best matches of this year. Definitely the best match of last week. You were there in person. How was it there in person?
That ovation when they started, like
a moment, bro.
Feeling the crowd, seeing them two in the ring. It was like, you know what I mean? Like New Japan New Japan just started caring about women, if we're keeping it a stack, like yesterday. They don't care about women. They do now. These two black women are main eventing a New Japan show for this newly created championship that was created for one of them and shit. Like this is, and on this podcast, we talked to Willow and she said that this match would be amazing. And that wasn't that long ago. You know what I mean? Like that was pretty recently. And for her to go from that to being in the main event with her, taking in this huge moment, we're all going absolutely insane at the sight of them two in the ring. It was amazing. Before they even got there, both of their qualifying matches I thought were great. Mercedes looked fucking phenomenal in her first match. That match was fucking awesome. And then Willow, same thing. So for that, we talked about it. The dream would have been for them to main event this match. They got to the main event and they killed it. Unfortunately, they went for it. A lot of great spots. But unfortunately, at one point, they're both on the top ropes. Mercedes falls backwards. It doesn't seem like that was the play. It seems like they were going to go on to something else because the way that Willow even sold it, Mercedes kind of pulled her down, and it looks like she might have slammed Willow's head into the turnbuckle, getting Willow to fall. But when Mercedes went down, her ankle or some part of her leg was affected. Yeah, they went into the match and immediately went into the finish. And the first one didn't go because the referee, I don't think, was 100% in on what was going on because everything was happening so fast. Willow hit another Dr. Bomb and for the victory, got the win. And then afterwards, she did a promo because there was apparently supposed to be more time in the match. So they had more time on the show and they needed Willow to essentially buy time. So they're saying Willow, who unexpectedly won this match, hey, say something about unexpectedly winning this match. Have fun with it. And it started to be a lot going on, Phil, honestly. The match is going on, and then I'm like, wait, what's happening? The referee thing, it got weird. How did it look on TV?
You couldn't tell she was injured at first from the fall off the apron. But when you replay the fall off the apron, it looks bad.
You could see it, yeah.
And I could tell she was injured when she went for the backstabber and she couldn't get her knees up.
Right.
And they had to rush into the finish. Unfortunate that happened, but I thought this was a really good match in spite of that.
Match was tight.
The atmosphere for it.
That pounce.
Ooh, that pounce was fire. And the way that Mercedes sold for Willow, she made Willow look like $1 million. You could tell that she was very much trying to help Willow as much as possible. And I thought she did great. I mean, if you can count on Mercedes to do anything, that was part of what made the Bianca match good as well.
Yes.
She was very giving to Bianca.
Totally.
And I thought the same thing happened here. She was very giving to Willow. I mean, it does seem like Mercedes was going to win this match.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to take away from Willow's win because I think Willow deserved this. And I think there was no real loser here because you had two black women on such a big card and in such a big prominent spot, history making spot.
Yeah. I shout out to me for being a part of both. I was at both black women main event shows. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. You got to give Mercedes a little bit of credit too, because wrestling is wild. Yeah. If she was, if a wrestler is supposed to win a match, a lot of wrestlers, even being hurt, but still won the match just so they could be like, I won, I got this victory. But for her to be able to pivot and be like, I can't do this. It's your moment now. Yeah, it's your moment now.
She handled it like a total pro.
And she didn't have to. She could have been like, I'm about to pin your ass and win this belt and hobble out of here.
She handled it like a total pro. I thought she did amazing. And I thought the match was good. If anything, this makes me very excited for a rematch because I do think there will be a rematch. And I do think that it will happen on AEW.
That's crazy.
This is crazy to think about. I mean, it could be. Of course, you don't want to see anybody get injured, but it could be. This could end up working out in their favor because now you have a built-in story to come in with AEW. You have a built-in spot for Willow. What they should do is give Willow as many defenses of that belt on AEW programming, and so that when Mercedes is ready to go and you can book that match, you're ready. And I mean, I also want to give the other women in this tournament credit because I thought this tournament was great from start to finish. I thought, like you said, Mercedes' first match against Stephanie Vaquero was great.
That was fire.
If you're not looking at Stephanie, I believe if she's from CMLL, right?
Yeah,
CMLL wrestler.
Yeah.
Really
She's
good
great.
wrestler.
That was great.
She had a great look. She wrestled really well. I thought this put her on a big platform. If you don't know who she is, check out more of her matches. And then Willow wrestled Momo Kogo, right? Momo Kogo in her first round match. That match was also very good. I thought all 4 of these women put on in their matches. It makes me want to see more New Japan Pro strong matches coming up. I just hate that it ended the way it did. I hate that people are focusing on the negatives about it, of course. But I think, like I said, we got a good match. We got a good outcome.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely makes me feel more optimistic for New Japan's use of the women. And like I said, I do think we're going to get something with Willow at Forbidden Door. I do think we're probably going to get a Stardom match at Forbidden Door. I'm just guessing. I feel like somebody from Stardom is going to come over and take part in it. It should happen. I mean, because last year I asked at the media scrum, was there any thought about working with Stardom? And Tony did confirm that they had. So I have to assume the second time around they're going to have their ducks in a row and have some Stardom women on this card.
We have to talk about these injuries recently, man.
Yeah.
Like these knee injuries, ACL injuries, ankle injuries, and it's a lot of women's wrestlers too, which is kind of being interesting.
It's that part of the year. Like I feel like this part of the year coming into summer was just the grind of so many matches.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people usually start getting injured at this time.
I had a conversation with someone recently about just kind of this, and they brought up a good point. Like the style is just crazy now. Like Kenny Omega's in the main event, Ospreay, all the stuff in New Japan, Bryan, like all these things from the top to the bottom now. It used to be like just the top guys were doing the crazy shit, but you're getting the crazy shit in the beginning matches. They're teaching Canadian destroyers and shit to newcomers. And Shawn Michaels got these women doing super kicks out, and, you know, in their first match. Like it's just a different way of working. And this is going to be more frequent, which kind of sucks about it, just because the style is so high impact from legit the top of the card to the bottom of the card. So it's unfortunate, man. Especially somebody said a Forbidden Door curse, and I was like, don't say that out loud. But like, Jamie, you know what I mean? Like Jamie already and Mercedes, like.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the Jamie stuff tonight, but if she does drop the belt, I think it could work out for her, because I think if she's ready in time for All In and she gets a title match on that card, winning in her hometown could be a big moment for her.
That's a good way to get it back.
I don't know, but that's assuming she loses tonight.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right.
But yeah, no, it is unfortunate that these injuries are happening now. Like we got 2 with WWE. We got Liv Morgan just hurt. King Coda hurt her knee as well.
That same match, that was brutal.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but like, I really enjoyed this match. Just the atmosphere of this match. That show was tight. The crowd was totally into this.
I definitely lost my voice immediately yelling for both of them.
And we got to give it up to Mercedes too. Just the fact that she left WWE and showed everybody, like, nah, I'm still her.
I'm the one.
I'm still a huge star, and people show out in groves to see her no matter where she wrestles.
Half of the ticket, they sold 3,000 tickets, and before they announced Mercedes, they had only sold 1,200. They announced the Mercedes, and she did that. So, like,
man, it's just incredible to see that, like, one of the biggest stars in wrestling right now is a black woman, and
she took a chance on herself.
She bet on herself, and she has been on an amazing run this year. It sucks that it's getting halted right now. We don't know what the diagnosis is on the injury or what the timetable is, and
also coming out of that, we heard that she signed a new deal with Bushiroad, and she there's gonna be some more dates. So
yeah, but I mean, I assumed that was the case because she was definitely talking about wanting to do more Stardom stuff. And it seems like they made that belt as a way for her to defend that belt in the US and do some more dates in the US. So yeah, definitely looking forward to her getting back on her feet. Definitely, hopefully this is a speedy recovery and she's not going long, but unfortunate. Isn't the end of the world, of course. No. Just the obstacle. She definitely will be back, hopefully. Yeah. And
shout out to Mercedes and shout out to Willow because they both destroyed it. And Willow looks amazing with that belt. And I'm sure whatever matches that she's booked in going forward are going to be fire. And if they're going to have that, that's essentially another women's championship that's kind of in the mix. That's good for everybody.
Yeah. To Anime Otaco 2 says Church of Joshi showed a clip today on their Twitch from Mercedes versus Willow. Mercedes sold the hell out of that pounce. Love a good pounce. Yeah, shout out to Church of Joshi, man.
Yeah.
Alex and who's their what was his name? I'm drawing a blank.
Lauren.
Is it Lauren? No, Lauren's their friend. It's somebody else. Starts with a K. Sorry,
We're awful.
I'm,
Look it up.
It's been a long morning. But
Shout
shout out
out
to Church
to
of
Alex, that's my
Josie. Yeah, Alex is great. And I think what they do over there, Church of Josie, is dope. Let's see. Shot Kid says injury sucks, but it means Willow and Mercedes 2 will be even better.
Facts.
I got the feeling we're going to see a lot more of Stephanie McCurr in the next year.
I got the feeling after that match too.
Yeah, I think that she definitely got a lot of eyes that night. So hopefully, that leads to big things from her.
Hopefully.
Kayla, you're right.
Kayla.
I knew it started with the K. I was just drawing a blank for a moment. Just
Listen
a lot on my mind.
Church of Josie. They're
Yeah, check out Church of Josie.
Everybody's like, Kayla, you guys are awful.
Yeah, we hear we hear a lot people that are like, I don't watch Stardom, or I'm not into
Trinity. You watched a little bit of the Impact show, didn't you?
Yes. But yeah, we hear a lot that, I haven't watched a lot of Joshi wrestling, or I'm not into it. How can I get into it? Church of Joshi is a good gateway into that stuff. If you haven't watched it, I think they do a great job. Yes. I did watch Trinity versus Giselle Shaw on Friday night from Airbnb. I thought it was great. I think Trinity continues to show that she's better than people think. Yeah. I don't think that she gets the credit she deserves as a worker. I think in those first 2 matches with Impact, she's really showed me something.
Shout out to Trinity.
I already knew she was great.
Yeah,
I think if you go back and look at the Charlotte match from last year, she's been showing y'all that she's much better than y'all give her credit for.
Right.
And so I'm more excited to see what she does with Impact. I think that now that Deonna is the definitive Impact Knockouts champion because she beat Jordan Grace on the same night in a very good match. I think that's now the matchup going forward that we're going to be looking for is Trinity versus Deonna.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought Under Siege was a good show. I didn't get a chance to see all of it because I watched it late. But
rumors coming out of that about Jordan is that she's a free agent now.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I get it. We talked about it a little bit last night. I think Jordan is kind of, I don't want to say in an unfortunate situation, but I think she came up in a spot where she was the hot free agent there when she got there, and she got a lot of good opportunities. But it seemed like every time they would bring in another free agent, they would be the hot one, and she would kind of take a dip down.
Yeah, she kind of got and like when they brought in Killer Kelly and Masha.
I mean, even when they initially brought in Deonna, because if you remember, like Jordan had just won the title, and then Deonna went on like that year-long reign, and it took a minute to get back to Jordan. And then by the time they got back to Jordan, then they had just signed Masha, and they had just signed Killer Cross. I mean, Killer Kelly, not Killer Cross. Killer Kelly. And so it's unfortunate that I do think she had some great matches with Impact. I think that
she did. She had a nice run. Like
she had a very good run.
Her and Deonna's rivalry was fire. They had a bunch of matches.
I think the Masha match was good. I think the matches she had with Mickey was good. I mean, I think even some of the stuff she did with like Big Papa Pump was fun. She had a lot of really cool stuff. She did the digital media title run. She had the short-lived thing with Morrissey.
Oh, right. Where do you think she lands? I don't know if I see her in AEW if I'm keeping it 1,000% with you guys.
I don't know. I think she fits best in AEW. I could see her going to WWE, but I
might see her in WWE over AEW. Yeah.
I don't know if I think she fits there more than AEW.
No?
I think that they could use somebody like her in AEW because she's unique.
Yeah.
They don't have a bunch of powerhouse wrestlers there. I think she'll fit really well there. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see what it is that she wants to do.
She could be wanting to hit Joshi herself. She's like, maybe I want to go to Japan, get my shit off.
But again, I mean, I just think it's just such a I don't like using the word unfortunate, but
it is unfortunate. That's probably the best way to describe it.
But it is such an unfortunate situation because, again, if you remember when she signed with Impact and like all the indie stuff she was doing, like she was doing the Progress stuff, like she was one of the hottest indie wrestlers. Remember, she was on the card for All In. She was in that. She was in the Battle Royal.
Right.
She was one of the hottest free agents that year, and I don't want to say I feel like she's cooled down since then, but I don't think that there's as big of a rush to sign her as it was before.
Her and Athena would be tight. Fanatic Rub saying that. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, she could be maybe over there with Athena. That could be some hot shit.
I mean, on that same token, I could see like she would return there because she might have unfinished things to do, but I don't think she does. I think she's done everything there is to do an Impact.
Facts.
And I think it's time for her to move to a bigger stage.
Yeah, no, she did it in Impact. I think this is the perfect time for her to kind of go, because they have, like we say, Masha and Killer Kelly, kind of new batch, Giselle and Trinity. They have like a new batch of people that are, she's not going to be very high up on the totem pole if they're putting the emphasis on all their new knockouts. So I think if she goes and does her thing outside, she might be in a better position in a year from now.
Yeah,
because she's super talented.
I think it was time.
Yeah.
I think it's time for her to try something else. I think that she's definitely good enough, and she's definitely an established name where she should be able to go to a bigger stage and not just make more money, but, you know, get some more eyes on her and really show people that she is like one of the hottest young women's wrestlers out there, because she is still very young. Yeah.
And I don't think that the Gresham thing is going to play a part in her Ring of Honor, her AEW thing. I don't know for sure, but I just don't really, I don't feel like that's going to affect it, because they've said that Tony and John are in a good position at this point. So I don't think that's going to play a role in it.
Yeah, I don't think that it would either. But yeah, I definitely think Jordan is in the same boat in Deanna, where it's kind of time to move on.
Right.
And not to say that, you know, Impact is like small league, but I just think they've done everything to do there, and I think that it's time for them to get on the bigger stage.
Sometimes when you run the gauntlet, that's it. Like, there's nowhere to really go. Impact, like that, you know, if there's only so much you can do there before it's time to kind of move on.
Yeah. Let me see if we have any more super chats. I don't see any. I think it's time for us to wrap up out of here.
Yeah.
Been on the street. Yeah, while I'm waiting for that to load, you got anything left on Double or Nothing's card tonight? Anything else you're excited about?
Anything else I'm excited about? I think I'm kind of the Jade thing is probably like the most interesting kind of side story of like, I was about to be 60-0. But you know, if Taya beats her, she kind of the same shit we're saying about Jordan. Taya is fucking one of the best women's wrestlers in the world.
She deserves it.
World champion. Like, if she won, it wouldn't be like, oh, this big shock. But I think there's a lot that's going to come out of this. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but like Jordan going overseas and doing like a stardom run, and doing some other stuff.
That's fire.
And getting her name up again. I think that would be dope.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think I'm very see where this Jade thing goes, because I do think that that's going to change the face of this division if she loses tonight.
Yep.
Because I think that could potentially be a big win for Taya. But I think it also potentially moves Jade up into world title picture, especially at a time now where you're going to have a vacuum with Jamie being out. I think moving her up, like, she's the next biggest star that you could get that world title around, and that's not
her and potential Tony Storm. I'm loving it. That sounds good to me.
I think it's time. I think it's time to get her into the big feuds like Tony and Sheeta and Britt Baker. So I'm very interested to see what that means for the women's division. Of course, very excited for the Anarchy at the Arena match. Very excited to see how Orange Cassidy pulls this out, and
the main event. I think the main event, like, not for nothing, those guys, it's four of the most talented wrestlers in the world. Like, so anything that's surrounding it is going to be thrown out the window as soon as the bell rings and these guys start going 100 miles per hour, you know?
Yeah, so I think the Pillars match has taken a lot of criticism from people, but I think the story stuff has been really good. I think that we're possibly getting a double turn tonight. I think that Jack is probably going to turn.
That's on the way for sure.
And I think that Sammy's looking like he's turning as well. I think, of course, MJF is going to retain, but very interested to see if we see Coastal Personality ring off afterwards.
If I were to make one prediction, one wild, you guys are saying surprise, I'd say probably Punk.
Yeah, I think coming out of this, if we do get this women's blood and guts match, like I said, Jade without the title and taking her spot in the home and taking on the Outcast.
That's one thing I hadn't thought about. Yeah, she could play a role in that.
So, because she belongs in the storyline. She's one of the biggest homegrown stars in that company. Period. Not just the women. So yeah, she belongs among them.
Right.
But yeah, I think we've got it for that.
We did that. We got to get out. We got to start making our way downtown, walking fast. We're going to Double or Nothing, guys. We got some more wrestling to watch. Las Vegas,
Yeah, man,
Will Washington, all kinds of shit, man.
But yeah, of course, as always, thank you for joining us. Big shout outs to our brother Will Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Good to have him on the stream. Wish we could have had more time with him. Wish it wasn't like crazy technical difficulties to start this thing.
But he got to work.
Yeah, but he'll definitely, I'm sure, be back on this podcast again.
Facts.
As always, thanks for you guys tuning in. Thanks for super chat and humper chats. You know what it is. It's your man from Chicago. It's my man from Oakland. We are out of here. Peace.